Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Today's Sunday session is proudly brought to you by More Beer at www.morebeer.com.
I poured it in my mouth and it just wasn't going down.
My first beer was an IPA, the best IPA I've ever drank. Mostly because I brewed it.
If you have a scale that is good for measuring cocaine, you're probably good for measuring hops on it.
You're scaring me.
I think the information is awesome and the audio sucks.
Make some sugary water, throw some yeast in there, and you're going to drink good beer. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's fine.
God damn it, man. Oh, my God.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Welcome to the program, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's The Session, back on a Monday. Ready to have a good time tonight. We got a lot going on, and 2 different guests, and beer flowing.
Whoa.
And JP is
I'm
here.
here. Hi.
So
He's not all here, though.
he's sort of here.
Yeah.
Doc's back in the studio with us.
Yeah.
Tasty made it.
Oh, yeah.
Moscow's here.
Hello.
Bevo's on her way somewhere. I don't know what she does.
Doesn't work. I was trying to be her and be noisy in the microphone, but I have a better microphone than she does, apparently.
You didn't click things enough.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we got to get right into it because we got a lot of things going on today. First up, in just a few minutes, we're going to talk to Christopher Mullen, Sr. of McGillen's Old Ale House in Philadelphia. It's the oldest operated tavern in Philly. Guys, take a stab at it and just do it, make nice round decades. What year do you think it opened?
I would say in the 10s.
In 10 BC?
Well, you said round to the nearest
Well, I mean,
decade,
don't say 1776.
No,
I'll give you closest.
In the 1910s.
1910s, says JP.
You call it a tavern, right? Not a brew pub.
Tavern.
A tavern. Okay. Then it could have been an Old West kind of thing too. I'm thinking like 1895 or something.
Okay, all right, good guess. Doc, what do you think?
Yeah, Philly's
Earlier than that.
Philly's an old
Yeah.
town.
Oh, he's going to go
Philly's an
there.
old town. I don't think it's colonial stuff. That's way too old.
Give it a shot.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it is colonial. What are we talking about?
1850s.
Oh, Doc's very close.
Oh.
1860.
Oh.
Wow.
1860.
Well, that's why Tasty got it wrong. He was just born. So,
You can't remember.
What do you expect?
Yeah.
Listen, 1860 is the year Abraham Lincoln was elected.
Wow.
Is that right?
I don't know. Is it?
Nobody knows.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I was
See?
there.
Yeah. I'm as good at history as I am math.
I gave these guys a call because the guest last week, the Don Russell, mentioned this is the must-go bar in Philly, if you guys remember.
That's true. We've been, you may not have noticed, but we've been covering Philadelphia things for you as we're gearing up for the National Homebrewers Conference, and it was recommended as the must-go-to place. So,
Isn't it just a few blocks from the conference center?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh,
So-
it's going to be swamped.
It'll be swamp, but it'll be great craft beer, and what a piece of history. I mean, being there since 1860. So we'll be talking to the owner now, Christopher Mullins Sr. He's going to come on the line in just a couple of minutes. So
that's awesome.
We'll get ready for that. Also, a little bit later on in the program, we're going to be talking to Tom Hennessy. Now, Tom Hennessy, speaking of history in brewing and legendary brew dudes, this guy has started, owned, operated, and sold 5 different brew pubs, and he's on his 6th one now.
Wow.
On top of that, he's the author of the 2 different cult classics. One of them is the Brewery Operations Manual, and the Brewery Operations Manual taught the layman how to build a brewery out of equipment that was not brewing equipment. Dairy equipment, things like that. He actually wrote the manual to help people do that way back when.
Oh, lots of breweries started up that way, dairy equipment.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Cheap stainless.
Not only that, he then created the Frankenbrew video that kind of did the same thing. In fact, I think the Franken video actually more focused on the building it from, Frankenstein type of equipment, dairy stuff, and then the Brewery Operations Manual actually showed you how to run a brewery. Now he's the proprietor and brewmaster, of course, at Colorado Boy Brewing.
Nice.
So we're going to be talking to Tom Hennessy, too. We got a full day of historic beer for you today.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, again, gearing up for the National Homebrewers Conference in the historic town of Philadelphia.
Yeah. Right.
We're just getting ready, man.
Well, and here we have our own bit of history, too. We're drinking the first drinkable beer from Justin Crossley. It's a month of historic events.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's historic.
I'm surprised you guys went for it, because there are 2 beers on tap.
Right.
There was the Gramarye,
right,
which, by the way, I was texting my good friend Jamil just last week, is the best session beer on earth. I have declared it. I absolutely love it. And then you got mine next to it. You guys are drinking mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
That must mean that mine is the second... Maybe mine's the best session beer on earth.
Yeah, but you can't call that yourself. You got somebody else do that.
Yeah. JP, can you text me real quick that mine's the best on earth? And then, because once you text somebody, it's true.
I'm not going to say on earth,
on the
but
internet.
how about in Martinez?
Fuck.
In this room.
That's like every beer I've ever brewed.
The most beautiful beer in the room.
There we go. All right, so we got a lot to get to today. Let me do some quick announcements so that we can get right into speaking with Christopher Mullins from McGillen's Old Ale House. First of all, I want to let you know that our Brewing Network anniversary tickets are still available to come see us in Philadelphia at the World Cafe Live. You can go to the Brewing Network Philly .eventbrite.com and get your tickets, and I recommend getting them. We've never not sold out this party, and so there are still tickets left. But what happens here is, in the last couple weeks, as people are deciding how they're going to spend their pre-conference time, they start buying up those tickets. Also, just in the planning stages of this thing, it is turning out amazing. We got listed on Philly Tap Hunter, I think, or Tap Finder, Philly Tap Finder. I'll find it for you. JP, you'll be posting it on all our social networks tomorrow.
I will.
Which will be listing all of the beers that are going to be featured.
Oh.
In talking to the event organizers at the venue, we were originally going for 30 different beers from approximately the same amount of breweries.
Right.
They're now going for 60.
I'm sorry. I thought you said 60, but I wasn't sure.
They were like, listen, guys, we like what you're doing. Yeah. We've done this before. Why don't we up this shit to 60? And we said, yes, that's what we want.
Can we stay open 5 hours later?
So all kinds of different beer that you're going to get to try. We got live music from the Trophy Fire and the School of Rock.
That's right.
There's a VIP dinner going on beforehand. There is giveaways. Blickman just gave us a whole list of wonderful beer gadgets for the Homebrew Geek, plus many of our other sponsors donating things as well.
And it's a great way to kick off the week.
It's the only way, as a matter of fact. And
what else are you going to do?
Right.
There's some other things that you could do, but this is the thing you really want.
Oh, you could do whatever you want, but this is, and plus, our good friend Nico Brew has a surprise in the urinals for everybody.
Oh, that's right.
So if you want to know what your urinal surprise is...
That does not sound like an incentive.
It might be.
I would also, while I'm at it, and you're trying to decide what you're going to do, our good friend Jake Keeler, old friend Jake, he emailed me, hey, our ticket's going to be available on the day of, and because I don't really know how I'm planning my week yet.
Jake said that.
Yeah,
what a tool.
I said, Jake, Two things. One, probably not. Two, what the fuck else are you going to be doing with your time on Wednesday night in Philly before the conference?
Well, I think I'm just going to be sketching some skulls all by myself in my hotel room like a loser.
What a douchebag.
Well, he might have some presidential duties.
No, you know what his answer was? Getting rest for the week. I gotta.
Well, he's like 89 right now.
Poor guy. I have to show him how to do it.
That's what I said. Listen, if my boy Tasty, who's 107 years old, can do it, you can do it.
Right.
So, all right, I got to keep us moving through that, but please, the Brewing Network, Philly.eventbrite.com, and I'm pleading with you because what you're going to hear is all week long what a great party that we had that you didn't make it to if you don't go buy your tickets now. If you want to pour beer at our Brewing Network Club booth, there's a thread in the forum, and you can also send an email directly to Scott at thebrewingnetwork.com. He'll put you in contact with our booth organizer. One of the BN Army Club members in the local Philly region has stepped up, him and his brother, and they're going to build the booth and get the jockey boxes and get it all ready to go. If you'd like to pour beer with your club, the Brewing Network, please feel free to do so. Just send Scott an email or respond to the thread in the forum. Scott at thebrewingnetwork.com. The store is up and doing well. There's a bunch of stuff to buy in there, including BN Warheads, stainless steel, dual-walled fucking
things, dude.
What they have, they're made in a vacuum or something. I think they're made in space.
I think they're made. Yeah.
When I read the thing, it said they're made in a vacuum, and the only vacuum I know of is space, right?
Well, and the Dyson.
Yeah. But I figured I paid a lot of money for them, so it must be space.
They better be space.
It better be goddamn space.
That's true.
Those are available in the store. People love them. Check them out. Doc loves them. I know that. You can support us over on Amazon. Just do your normal Amazon shopping by clicking the Amazon logo right on our homepage. Then you do your shopping as normal. Listen to this on the go with iPhone and Android apps. Just search BN Mobile. Watch all this and more on Justin.tv/Brewing Network.
There you go.
If you subscribe and join the BN Army, not only are you contributing to this wonderful beer radio show and helping us out and putting food on our tables, but you also are entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is a $100 gift certificate. Our winner for May was Corporal Stephen Neal. Thanks for being a supporter. And he won himself $100 over to More Beer. More Beer, of course, is the sponsor of this session and every session. Go check them out at morebeer.com. Get all this and more over on Twitter and Facebook. Send show ideas to Scott, Scott at thebrewingnetwork.com. Send feedback over to feedback at thebrewingnetwork.com. All right, guys, as I said, we got a lot to get to today, so let's jump right into it. On the line right now, Christopher Mullins. Christopher Mullins Sr., I should add. He's the owner of McGillen's Old Ale House right there in Philly. It's the oldest operated tavern in Philly. Christopher, are you with us?
I'm right here.
Hey, thanks for being on the program. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me as a guest.
Christopher, we are coming your way.
You can call me Chris. Everybody does.
Okay, good. Thank you. Because I would start slurring Christopher within the next beer or so.
I just want to call him Topher.
Right. Chris, not only is the Brewing Network staff, but the Brewing Network listeners are headed your way in droves later this month for our anniversary party and the Homebrewers Conference. And
that's going to be awesome. We're really looking forward to it. We just got over Philly Beer Week, and that was quite a success.
I bet that you now you say it was a success, but Chris, I'm surprised you're not still napping. It must have taken it out of you that week.
Well, we try to. There's so many events, and we're the oldest bar in Philadelphia, 152 years. We've been here a long time. We hope to be here a long time. So we don't stretch it out. Some bars do something every single night. We prefer to just focus on a couple of events and put all our energies into that, and let the other folks enjoy themselves and have a good time at some of the other bars in town. There's lots of great drinking places in Philly.
I like your plan, low and slow. Listen, we're McGillen's. We don't have to do an event every night. We're McGillen's, damn it. We are an event.
Yeah, well, but we're only, what are we, 8 years old?
That's true.
Right. So tell me about give me a little history of the pub. You say that you're the oldest pub in Philly, and did the doors open in 1860? Do I have that right?
Exactly right. It was started by William McGillen, who was an Irish immigrant. He came here during the potato famine and started the bar in 1860. At that point in time, it was just one. There's actually today we have 3 pieces of real estate side by side, but you couldn't tell when you enter.
Okay.
But when he started, it was one little part of that parcel, and he gradually purchased the other properties, and and then his wife, when he died, his wife enlarged the property into what you presently see, the footprint that you see if you walk on our front door.
Okay. And I have in my notes that William McGillen lived upstairs from the pub for all this time. Yeah,
right. One of the properties he bought was a house that adjoined the bar, and it was a 3.5-story Philadelphia Trinity, and he raised his 13 children in that property.
Good Lord!
I know, he was busy both day and night.
He's a proper Irish Catholic.
Exactly.
That's why.
Cheating on the Pope there.
That's right.
Also, there was no So You Think You Can Dance or The Voice or something to distract him.
He had nothing else to do back then.
Right.
Now, tell me a little bit about how the bar survived that long. Because, I mean, look at the big elephant in the room is Prohibition, right?
Exactly. Well, Pa died in 1901, and his widow took over the bar and ran it, and actually did the renovation, completed the renovation that he'd long planned, and ran it until her death. But what she did when Prohibition started, she actually locked our front door and said, nobody's going to come in through this front door. I will not unlock it until Prohibition is over.
Wow.
But we did have a side door and a back door, and she hired a chef, and they served food here and survived Prohibition, and ostensibly never served any alcohol that anybody caught them doing. But I'm sure there was some hanky-panks going on somewhere in this building.
Sure. and let's not just your building either. You wouldn't have been the only place doing
it.
Yeah. Do you have pictures and things on the walls that we can see when we go in there?
Oh yeah, one of the we have lots of historic stuff, a lot of beer paraphernalia, brewerania from old trays and signs and faucets and spigots and posters and things like that. But we also have collected a number of the signs of the famous retail establishments in Philadelphia that have come and gone. The first department store in the United States was started in Philadelphia by John Wanamaker, so we have a huge John Wanamaker sign.
Nice.
And anybody from the Delaware Valley who's been in this area for a long time remembers John Wanamaker. It was a great department store chain here in Philadelphia, like Feline's in Boston or Fields out in Chicago. It's famous, and he started the concept of a department store, big store where you could buy everything.
I love it.
So we have the whole wall. One whole wall is Gimbel's, Blitz Brothers, Caldwell's, Woolworths. We have signs from there. We have pictures of the people who have worked here over the past 50 to 75 years, anyway, including Ma and Pa McGillen.
This is the kind of thing I want to see as I'm spending my time in Philadelphia.
Pictures of dead people?
Of Ma and Pa.
No.
Yeah.
It's
history.
A good feeling, yes.
I mean, let's face it. Here on the West Coast, we don't have a whole lot of that. We've got some historic places and a couple of historic pubs. You're not going to find too much from 1860 that is the same functioning thing as it was back then.
Not at all.
Yeah. Although San Fran has a couple of great old bars, Irish-type bars that were from the 19th century.
We do.
So they're and it was because of the seafaring trade. You know, the Irishmen were not just good drinkers, but they're hard workers, and including good sailors.
And that made them hard drinkers as well. Absolutely.
Is there a tight community around that? Like people who have owned old bars? Do you know fellow owners of these types of places?
No, I do not, to be honest with you. We should have something like that, but no. I mean, we have a book here that we keep of, a small history of McGillen's, pictures and things like that. And including in that is the names of the top 10 oldest bars in the United States. And so people can say, "Oh, I've been there. I've been to the Bell and Hand in Boston, or I've been to where the different places that are around the country."
I love it. Now, you are not a descendant of the McGillen family.
No, my wife is the daughter of the second owners of McGillen's. The McGillen family owned it from 1860 to 1958.
Okay.
And then Joe Chapaniak and Henry Spaniak bought it from them. Two brothers, Polish brothers, with two separate, different names. One was Americanized and the other wasn't. And my wife is the daughter of one of those, was the daughter of Henry, and the niece of Joe. So I married into the family, so to speak, and now my son is involved here, so he'd be the third generation of the second family owning the bar.
See, this is another thing I really like, and I'm not sure why, but I love family businesses that are passed down from generation to generation, especially when they're fun, like a tavern.
Yeah.
If it's like the family plumbing business, it's not so fantastic to me. But when you hear about a place like that, I don't know, I really like it.
Well, it's even I think with a plumbing business or something more service oriented. I guess it's cool because it's a good business. It kind of lends credibility to, hey, we know what we're doing. We're not here to rip you off, or we're not just a fly by night community. We're a family and we'll care for you.
And there's a sense of pride with that. So you're right, even in the service.
And there's one thing you can't knock around a good bar owner, and that's you can't knock our plumbers. After our beer suppliers, they're just about the most important person we have.
You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. Because we only rent the beer.
We don't sell it to you. We just rent it to you.
Right, that's true.
So
where's it going to go? Yeah. Also, now, as long as this business has been around, it has really not changed hands that much at all.
No. There's been two families, and there's three. My wife and I are the third ownership change in all that time. Ours was an outright purchase from Joe and Henry. So, yes, two families, three ownership changes in all this time.
It's amazing. And you're doing all this at the age of 35. It's great.
No, I'm 65. I'll be 66 next month.
Okay.
And, enjoying it. Still here working tonight.
You are? You're not looking to get out of there and retire?
Why retire? Retire to what?
I don't know.
Hawaii?
Yeah, you got it made,
idea what's more fun than being like, right now we've got this insurance conference in town, 6,000 insurance professionals, and they're streaming in the doors here out to have a good time, listen to the jukebox, drink some beer, and have fun.
Does that raise the little hairs on the back of your neck to have all these insurance guys that are just like, oh, man?
Well, I guess after the plumber, that's another important purveyor.
You're right. You're right.
So,
the people we forget about.
Yeah.
I wonder if the lawyers in the insurance convention have knife fights.
Yeah.
Now, tell me about the evolution in the tavern, and particularly on the beer side that you've seen since you've owned it, because obviously craft beer is the big thing now, but you've owned it for a while.
Okay, let me say this to you. I've been in the business since I was 11 years old. My father was a chef, and I've worked in this business since I was 11.
Okay.
I've had bars. I've owned bars since 1980. And I'm going to say this: the best thing that's happened to the bar industry is the craft beer movement.
Wow!
Because I'm not going to. I'm not one of these people that say we only no crap on tap or anything like that. I believe they're all beer. There's a reason for beer, and beer means different things to different people. And if you want a light beer, make it good, make it fresh, make it. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to knock that, but the craft brew movement has given people a reason to come out to bars and taste. We have 30 different draft beers right now.
Wow. And
people come in and they want to see what we have and the rotating taps. They want our tried and true, which are the McGillen's Ale, Lager, and IPA, 1860 IPA. They're made for us by stouts, but when I came into this business in '93, I said, I've got it. It wasn't doing real well. I mean, the two men we bought it from were older, and times had changed. And you know what good beer was in Philadelphia? Foster's, Molson, Heineken,
the imports.
Budweiser. People would say, "Oh, that's better beer," and I'm like, I got to do something different. So we were the first bar in Philly to really embrace that concept of let's find local beers. And I was fortunate to meet with Carol Stout and ask her to brew us some beer.
Nice.
And now they're doing 3 of our beers. But we've seen some breweries come and go, and right now we're in another surge of new breweries. Some of them are going to manage to stick. Some of them aren't going to make it. But if they make good beer and are good to their customers, charge a good price, they're going to be around for a while.
That's a very sound philosophy you have.
And Philly is a hotbed. I mean, we call it the Fertile Crescent here. We have, Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. We have 3 states with great brewing traditions, and, we support them. We just had a beer tour. That was our last event of Beer Week.
Okay.
We took 50 of our customers and some of our staff and went to 3 breweries in the Delaware Valley, Yards, Boxcar, which is the new one of the newer ones, and Twin Lakes down in Delaware. And they just had a ball going around, meeting the brewers, drinking their beer, and getting together.
It seems to me that as long as the bar's been standing, and even within your ownership, you might have 2 different customer bases. You've got the people who think that McGillen's has been their pub for 20 years, and then you've got the new crowd looking for the latest craft beer that you put on tap.
We've got even more than that. I mean, it's true. I mean, you got tourists, you got when you say 20 years, we have people that have come here. I had a couple come in here. He was celebrating his 90th birthday, and was their 70th anniversary.
Wow.
And they met at McGillen's.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and we hear that not every day, but we hear stories similar to that. Oh, we met here 40 years ago, 30 years ago, or my parents met here, whatever.
Right.
So, and then we have, and we have lawyers that come in, we have business people, the city people who work for the city government.
Sure.
So we're right downtown, so we get and then tons and tons of students.
See, that won't happen with my generation, Chris. What'll happen is that in 20 years, people will be coming in and saying, Chris, I got divorced here. Like, I decided that my life was over in your bar.
Or, I had my first date from a lady I met on Match.com here.
Exactly. I love this. What a great piece of history you run there.
Thank you. Yeah, and are you personally coming to Philly?
Yeah, we are. My company is hosting. I almost feel just infantile to say it. We're hosting our 8th anniversary party at the World Cafe Live.
Nice.
Downtown there, and that'll be on Wednesday. We're kind of the kickoff party to the Homebrewers Conference. But then throughout the week, as the conference wraps up in the afternoon, we're headed to your place.
I hope so.
Yeah, I really want to come in and see it. Of course, there's a few places, like we would like to go see Monk's Cafe.
Yes.
There's a few things. What about you? Any recommendations for us that are your favorite spots?
Well, and then you got Notting Head, not right around the corner from there. It's a brew pub. Triumph has a brewery here in town as well, small brew pub. And then, every block has good beer here.
Perfect.
It depends what neighborhood you're staying in. There's going to be good places. South Philly now is a hot spot. It used to be, hey, South Philly was for Italian food, an Italian restaurant. Now it's hot, it's jumping with young people. So yeah, I just walk from Monk's to here, and there's going to be 5 places that you can hit on the way.
This might be JP and Doc the one conference we actually get out of the conference hotel and go see some bars.
Oh, please don't. What hotel? Well, whatever hotel. Don't spend your time there. I mean, walk the streets here. It's very walkable.
Okay, good. That's what I like.
Walkable.
Well, now if we don't get out, we're gonna be very, very sad.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, it just sounds like a great place. We're going to come and check it out. You got about 3,400 of our closest friends coming to town for that conference.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Chris, thanks so much for spending time with us.
No, thank you for calling, and please do stop in. I'm here almost every day, and I'm not here. My son is here.
Okay, great. I'm going to want to shake your hand, so I'll bug you when I get there.
Me also.
And Chris, is there a website we can give folks, our listeners, to find the place?
Yep, we're on www.mcgillens.com.
There we go.
Yeah, we're just go to McGillen's and you'll find us.
Okay.
McGillins.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Chris. I look forward to meeting you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye.
There you go. McGillen's.
Could you imagine, Justin, if you lived in a house adjacent to this studio and you had 13 kids there with you and you were trying to run this place at the same time? It's a crazy thought.
He's probably got 13 kids somewhere.
There is that. But then there's the other side of that, which is it's the only way you could possibly raise 13 kids and have a job.
Yeah, you're right
is
there.
that they're just because you're down. Hang on, shut up while I change the keg. I'll be right back. You whiny little shit.
You go change the keg. Do it now.
Yeah, I mean,
because you're 4, it's about time you start working.
Yeah, get your little brother and do it.
Yeah.
Well, I listen to Chris now. Now I know Chris wasn't part of the McGillen family, but he said he's been in the business since he was 11, and you can be damn sure that all 13 of those kids in the McGillen family knew part of that business too.
Oh, for sure.
Like one of them knew how to take out the garbage, and the other one knew how to clean up puke, and the other one,
Yeah, pick up the hookers off the floor.
All of that stuff.
It's not just boredom or Catholicism. It's I need labor.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, that was what it was.
Yeah.
Now it's I have too much money, so I'm going to spend it on kids. That's terrible.
13 kids.
It's an insane thought.
As JP said, they didn't have cable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a kid every 9 months, right? Like there's no break.
They call... I've heard this term the other day, Irish pregnant.
And I'm like, which is always pregnant.
Yeah, and I'm like, I didn't really understand. So it's like, 2 kids within a year and a half or something, or 2 years of each other.
Sure.
Like,
talk about the Fertile Crescent.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, she must have spent a minimum of 16 or 17 years pregnant, just from 18 to 38.
Depends
Pregnant.
on how it happened. Well, you got to factor. Let's do some math, everybody.
Well, you could have some twins in there. No, give her a break.
That's what I was going to say. Without really getting too mathematical, you got to count twins.
Yeah, but it's so rare.
You got to
back
count
then,
that also kids were coming out a little earlier, too. So she could have been having, Mrs. McGillen could have been having kids from like 16 to 30-something.
Yeah,
it's true.
They had a lot of miscarriages.
I was going to say, and realistically, like she probably was pregnant more times than that and didn't carry them all the way through.
Oh, dear.
So
thanks for bringing it down. Thanks,
hey,
Bevo.
no problem.
Thanks for pissing on our happy parade.
I
A
do
bunch
what
of
I can.
dead babies.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
How does that thought strike you, Bevo? 2 decades straight pregnant.
Horrifying.
I'm being knocked
That
up.
makes my vagina hurt. Like thinking about that, actually, like
Sam's not going to do it.
Like
You might as well think about it.
I have yet to forget what childbirth was like.
Right.
They say you forget that pain. You do not.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
Who says you forget that pain?
People who don't have kids.
You're having another one soon, though, right?
Not soon.
What, like a
Why?
couple months? Come on, you guys. How long's it been now? How old's that one? 7?
She's 19 months.
19 months old.
Oh, come on. You're behind the curve already.
No, because unlike other people, I would prefer to not be so poor and keep having kids.
Who's that?
I'd like to be a little more financially stable before I bring another life into the world.
Why is it 19 months? Why is it never a year and a half?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, because I think until they're 2, you count them as months.
Why?
It's like 23 months.
But it's still weird. I was with a friend once. And someone
Like
said,
biblically, or
like, how old's your kid? Like a year? And he's like, oh no, 13 months.
He was kidding.
No, he wasn't. And I
that's
just
gay.
thought, I was
would
like,
have said, yeah,
settle
year and a
down,
month.
Chuckles. The kid's a year.
Close
No, he
enough.
was adamant. No, not that. I mean, yeah, 13.
Remember when you were a kid and you would count the halves and the quarters? Like, I'm 5 1/4. I'm 5 1/2.
Oh, it was a big deal then.
When does that stop? I wonder, as a child. Like, when do you stop caring? You go, I'm fucking 12,
by the point when
dude.
you start rounding down.
Yeah. Or you get...
I'm almost.
I think maybe it's when you get a job, and then it's like, oh, I can actually pay for myself now. I'm a big boy.
Yeah, you don't have half years.
Yeah.
And then you stop counting. I've stopped counting full years.
I'm still 15.
Yeah, I'm done counting.
We can count for you.
No, you don't need to do that.
You just keep counting babies.
It's the one place where my lack of math skills comes in handy.
Yeah.
Because I mean it when I say it. I'm like, I'm 32.
I don't know how old I am.
I could say it to you like with all the conviction in the world because I counted back to 1977, and to me, that's 32.
You would pass a lie detector.
Have you ever forgotten how old you are?
Yeah.
Where you're like, wait a minute, how old am I?
Yesterday, today.
Actually, about 2 weeks ago.
I do that a
Doc,
lot,
you've forgotten
actually.
it too?
Well, somebody asked, are you 52, 53? And I go,
What are you now?
53, I think.
You know how I count your age?
Round down.
To me, when you turn 50 was like the day you're born. I only count from the day of your
Okay.
50th anniversary party.
Yeah.
And I count back in liver years, basically. And I go, oh yeah, Doc's, he's 53. Yeah, that's how my liver feels. That's how I know how old you are.
Yeah, it's it.
Tasty won't tell us. That's why I'm convinced
on
he's
advice of
107.
counsel, I will not answer that.
Right.
I think he's
that I'm
too-
already like 3 times the girl's age anyway. So
Right.
why go for 4?
I think he's too old to actually carbon date. I think we have to have some other form of testing him.
Oh, you cut him in
Carbon
half
date
and
him.
count the rings.
Yeah, tree ring dating. Tasty ring dating.
Right.
That's mean.
Keith Mychek, otherwise known as Milo, in the chat room, is hanging out with us in the studio. He's all the way out from Arizona, land of the heat. What do you hear? Just for
Home of the heat stroke?
Apple bullshit?
I'm here for the Nerd Fest.
Nerd Fest at
How's
Apple.
that MacBook Pro turning out?
Hey, that's pretty nice. They didn't give me one though when I got there.
They didn't. They didn't give it in all the gift bags.
They gave me a crappy jacket though.
Oh, satin.
I got it downstairs. You're gonna laugh.
Members only. Sam will be jealous if it's a
Euro
members
collar.
only jacket. All right. Like I said, we got a lot of things to do today. We're going to take a break here in just a minute. But still coming up, we got Tom Hennessy. He's the owner and head brewer of Colorado Boy Brewery. And he's also the author of Brewery Operations Manual, as well as created and hosted Frankenbrew back in 1995, teaching us how to make a brewery out of equipment that was not brewing equipment. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. If you want to call in, Bevo's on the phones, 888-401-BEER. You can also hit the chat button on the homepage and do it that way. Jip, do we have a Twitter game for today?
We do have a Twitter game for today.
All right. Let's do some Twitter now so that we can have the show. Twitter Game's brought to you today by Keystone Homebrew Supply. You can go to KeystoneHomebrew.com right now and check it out. You can also call them at 215-855-0100. Go check them out. They're a great supporter of the program, and we're going to go see them when we're in Philly, actually. They're just outside of Philly, I do believe.
Yeah, in Harrisburg. And they're supplying a bunch of stuff for the guys that are doing the BN Club booth. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, awesome.
They're helping out the Brewing Network Club.
Yeah, empty grain sacks and the like, so
I love it.
Thanks, Keystone.
I also believe they're a sponsor of BNA 8. So, a lot of reasons to go over to KeystoneHomebrew.com and thank them for helping out the Brewing Network.
Do we get to meet Keith Stone?
I don't know if we do. All right, what's Twitter Game?
So, apparently, last week or the week before, Terrence had a dream. Our own Terrence the Black had a dream that he and I opened an ice cream parlor together.
Gay.
That is pretty gay.
I like ice cream.
That's a
So
fantasy.
I would like to know what we should call it when we actually do this.
JP and T-Bone's ice cream shop.
I just won.
What's the name?
That's
our Twitter game.
Yes.
All right, our Twitter handle is Brewing Network, and
right.
send your answers. You will win a prize. We don't know what that prize is. JP selects them randomly from the prize bin.
Big ass prize bin.
Reach into the prize bin.
Let me see what I find down in here.
It's a dead baby
from the 1860s.
I told you we like history around here. All right, let's do this. We're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, Tom Hennessy will be on the line with us. 888-401-BEER if you want to call in and ask questions yourself, or hit the chat button on the homepage. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters.
On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hi, I'm Jamel Zanishev, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Home Brewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your home brew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zanishev. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew.
Nico, listen, our lawyers said that we had to do this for 1 hour, and after this, we don't have to talk to each other for 3 more months to the next meeting.
Kids, come on, let's get out of here.
I'm supposed to have more lines. I'm the professional. Hey, it's Sully.
And I'm Nico.
And we opened the 21st Amendment 9 years ago at 563 2nd Street in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park, to make great beer and have a great time doing it.
That's right, because to us, the 21st Amendment is more than just the right to make beer. It's the right to experiment, to be innovative, and just do things differently. And so now, we're putting our craft beer in cans.
That's right, cans. You can find our world-famous Hell or High Watermelon Wheat Beer and Brew Free or Die IPA throughout California and Alaska.
And now it's also available on draft at select accounts in the Bay Area.
So next time you're at your local neighborhood pub or good beer store, be sure to ask for 21st Amendment in cans.
Because everyone likes it in the can.
Tasty crack cans.
Tasty crack cans.
A vial of White Labs yeast is the key to your best beer. When you open a vial of White Labs yeast, you're giving your beer its best chance for a perfect fermentation. In addition to their already incredible variety of yeasts, White Labs is proud to announce WLP 90, San Diego's super yeast, now available year-round. WLP 90 is super clean, super fast fermenting, with low esters and has a neutral flavor and aroma profile. It's alcohol tolerant and highly flocculent. For more of the latest White Labs news, click over to whitelabs.com, where you can read reviews of yeast, learn in the lab section, and join the customer club. And if you should find yourself in San Diego, White Labs has a brand new training facility for craft brewers and home brewers alike. Whitelabs.com. Discover yeast, nutrients, enzymes, and more for commercial breweries, home brewers, and homebrew stores. White Labs. It's all in the vial. For nearly 15 years, homebrewers have been served by one place in Michigan where you can buy yourself a serial killer grain mill. Adventures in Homebrewing. Did you try all those great Michigan beers at the National Homebrewers Conference in San Diego or Seattle? Adventures in Homebrewing delivered. Did you see a great false bottom in your buddy's cooler or brew kettle? Adventures in Homebrewing delivered that. And did you see that great custom-built brew stand? Yep, Adventures in Homebrewing delivered. Since 1999, Adventures in Homebrewing in Taylor, Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan, and online at homebrewing.org has been serving homebrewers across the globe. Check out their innovative 2.5-gallon keg with metal handles, great homebrew kits, and the fully adjustable serial killer grain mill. Visit them in Philly for the 2013 National Homebrewers Conference. Not gonna make it? Check out all the fun of Adventures in Homebrewing at homebrewing.org. For a limited time, coupon code BNetwork will slam 10% off your order. Bam! Adventures in Homebrewing. Join the adventure at the Great Lakes Home for homebrewing supplies. Online at homebrewing.org. And don't forget coupon code BNetwork for a limited time. Join the adventure today.
What could be better than great blues music and great beer? Rock your summer right at the 4th Annual Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival. Saturday, July 27th from noon to 6 p.m. Come enjoy tasty beer, delicious food, and free live music featuring the Candy Cane Band, the Chris Cane Band, and many more. Unlimited beer tasting and VIP access available at beautiful Pleasant Hill Park. More than 25 of the best and some of the newest Bay Area breweries will be on hand, like Lagunitas, the 21st Amendment, Sierra Nevada, Heretic, Lost Coast, Rocksteady, and Almanac Brewing. Get your tickets right now for the Blues and Brews Festival at bluesandbrewsfestival.com. And new this year, Friday night will be a pre-party concert from 6 to 9 p.m. Come enjoy the music of the Big Jangle. Don't miss the Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival for great blues and great brews. Get your tickets today.
This is www.thebrewingnetwork.com. Sit down next to it, grab yourself a paper towel, and watch those yeast have sex. You're listening to the Brewing Network.
The session.
Brewing up our next batch of radio gold.
Right now.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. A lot to do today. And having fun doing it, too. Right now, we've got Tom Hennessy. He's the owner and head brewer of Colorado Boy Pub and Brewery. He's on the line with us. Tom, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for being with us today. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Tom, sir, you are a legend in the brew world. You know this, right?
Only in my own mind.
Well, according to some of our listeners who wrote into us, in a lot of people's minds, man, you've been helping people learn to get into the craft beer industry for quite some time.
Yeah, I guess it's just, if you're in the business a long time, that happens.
Well, not always. Let's be honest. I mean, sometimes people hole up in their own little brewery and keep their secrets in the corner, but that's never been your philosophy, has it?
Well, from the very beginning, when I started our first brewery in '93, Bill Carver, who owns Carver's in Durango, really he helped me a ton, and I had never seen that before. But that's the brewing world, so I just kind of made it a point to help anybody, pass it along, help anybody since I was helped.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because you were in the restaurant business before you were in the brew pub business. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, we had restaurants and a wood oven pizzeria called Il Vicino.
Okay. And what happened? Somebody came to you and said, "Hey, you could make beer here too."
Yeah, it was this guy I knew. I didn't even know him very well. He was a coffee roaster, and he said, you should brew beer and put a brewery in this pizzeria. And I thought it was a great idea. I homebrewed 3 times.
Okay.
And my partners, they didn't really care about the pizzeria that much because we had 2 other Italian restaurants. And next thing you know, they said it's okay if I rip out the dish station and put in this, what we called a Frankenbrew system. And that's what started it.
Now, was it as easy as your friend said to just, hey, you should just brew beer and sell it here?
Well, it was easy to brew beer. It wasn't easy to brew good beer.
Got it. And as you said, you had only homebrewed, what, 3 times, you said?
Three times, even though I did all grain. No, I mean, I didn't know anything about it. But, I started brewing, and then I got in touch with Bill Carver, and his brewer, who was a Siebel graduate, Sean Wendling, who's now up in Alaska. He spent a day and a half with me. He charged me a ton of money, but it was the best money I ever spent because he showed me the Siebel methods back then, which was longhand for formulating recipes, and then I just started reading everything I could, and making better beer. I mean, still, it's good beer. It's not, most of the homebrewers I meet can make better beer than me, but it's good beer.
Sure. Well, I like that you at least, you had a discerning palate and enough to realize that you needed some education on how to do this because back when a lot of people were open craft breweries, I mean, there was a lot of bad beer being made and nobody cared.
Well, people were getting into it for the money rather than the craft. When I got into it, was the people, my peers, was Adam Avery and Dave Thibodeau from Ska, and all these guys. But they had the passion, and I did too. And I mean, I think that's what makes the difference, And I see it a little bit now too. Some people are thinking, "Oh, this is the next thing to get into to make some money," but
yeah.
The people I'm meeting, the home brewers that want to do it, they've got the passion. I think they'll do fine.
Sure. I couldn't agree with you more. We talked to some of our guests about that we are seeing a little bit of a resurgence of that whole let's get into this to make some cash thing.
Why do people still think that? Every time we talk to someone, they're always like, there's no money in it.
13% growth year after year after year. That's why people do it. But I mean, Tom, I think... I think you alluded to this too. In my opinion, and I'll just throw the number out there, I still think 9 out of 10 of them still have passion for craft beer, though.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
It's when you see the really beautiful equipment, and I won't say all of those people. Like one of our students who opened up Vault Brewing, they've got a beautiful setup, but they've got this incredible passion, and they're making amazing beers and doing really well.
Yeah.
But we have others, that are doing total Frankenbrew, and they're doing amazing beer too.
Love it.
Just depends on your wallet.
So what did that first brew system in the pizzeria look like?
It was a Grundy tank turned into a kettle. It just had a wok burner underneath it. It had another Grundy tank that was chopped off, turned into a mash tun, which is still being used today.
Wow.
I actually wrote an article recently with a new brewer that traced that very tank. It's got an amazing lineage right now. And then I had unjacketed Grundy fermenters. And then from the Grundys, I went into another Grundy for conditioning and then served out of that until I figured out, no, you've got to have jacketed fermenters. And our very first real Frankenbrew system, we made our own jackets using copper coils, but it worked.
Now, just for now, I've seen them before, but maybe some of our listeners haven't. What was a Grundy tank before you made it into a brewing vessel?
Well, this guy, his name was Grundy, and he started making these for Bass Ale and other places in the UK, and they were used they were tied houses back then until kind of the late 70s. So, like Bass Ale would go to its tied house pub, and it would pump from a big truck into these Grundy. They were 217 gallons, and they were underneath the bar. And then the bartender would just pump it up, using a beer engine.
I see.
And then they decided to go to kegs in the late 80s or in the early 80s, and started just dumping them. And that was about when the craft brewing movement started, and they became available. I mean, you could pick up a Grundy for $200 back then.
Wow.
Solomon Grundy like fermentation.
They're everywhere, and every major brewery you can think of has had them.
And I like that you mentioned that, because they are, and although more often now when I go on brewery tours, they're like the dusty thing in the corner. Now, not always. Now, sometimes they're still the main vessels, of course, but you can kind of see them in the basement nowadays.
Yeah, well, they're $2,000 now, and
wow.
I tell our students, if they use Pro Brewer as their homepage, check it 4 times a day, and if a Grundy shows up, just buy it. Don't even look at it.
Grab it.
Yeah,
it's the perfect universal vessel, right?
Yeah, you can use it for anything.
Yeah,
but it's not. Just in the last 3 years, you just can't find used stuff anymore.
Also, don't look at it because they're ugly.
They are ugly.
They're ugly, but they're beautiful.
Right at the same time, right? They're beautiful on the inside.
I mean, they're a little steampunk ugly. They've got that kind of. It is a cool. A lot of bolts. It's not right. Yeah. They're not like a perfectly welded conical. They're like bolted together.
Right.
Yeah, but the welds are beautiful inside, and 2 people can lift one up, and they're only 40 inches in diameter, and they're about 5 feet tall, so they're easy.
I could probably do one on my own.
So how did you now? Of course, you're the author of a brewery operations manual, and then you created the video Frankenbrew, and we're going to talk about both of those in detail. But how did you learn to put this equipment together and make it work?
I just went to look at breweries, and specifically McMenamins up in the Northwest. Those guys, they still brew that way. They still they own most of the Grundys in the U.S. I'm convinced.
Wow.
And I just love those guys. I mean, they use kind of crappy equipment. They make beer that I don't want to offend them, but it's probably flawed, but wonderfully hoppy and chewy and local and inexpensive. I mean, they're a great operation.
That is probably the best description of a McMenamins I've ever heard, because I love them too. Not only is their equipment kind of Frankenbrew, so are their pubs.
Oh yeah, easily.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the charm of them.
They're as unique as their systems.
I mean, what's the one in Oregon where it's not just their pub, but they made a hotel out of an old schoolhouse?
Oh no, the Kennedy School.
Yeah.
Well, the Kennedy School, but the Edgefield is it's a brewery, winery, distillery, golf course, movie theater, fine restaurant, hotel,
right,
and pub.
Maybe just start listing the things they don't do. It'll be easier.
Right.
They don't make aircraft carriers.
But there's such a charm to what they do and I think you're right about the beer too. It's okay. It's a nice pint of beer. The charm makes up for everything else. It's just part of it, I think.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I'll get that. You want me to get that for you, Tom?
Somebody will get it.
If it's the president, tell him I'm busy.
If that's Obama again, I don't have time.
Yeah.
He's always trying to get in on things.
Barry, just chill out, Barry. I'll be with you when I can be with you.
All right. So you end up writing a brewery operations manual, and what makes you do this? Because it sounds like you're an entrepreneur, but you really are taking on an educator role.
Well, we started teaching a course on how to open breweries at Colorado Boy about 3 years ago, and we only do one a month because it's not our main thing. And I get a request every other day, at least for a class, and I feel sorry for these people, because there's just not a lot of information out there. So I thought I would take the information we teach and put it into book form.
I see.
And at least there'd be something, and it would be a residual income, and it would be kind of a fun project.
Got it. And what does your class consist of that you do? My notes are saying that you only take on one student at a time.
Yeah, it's one-on-one. It's basically more of a mentorship program. It's almost like we've got this little fraternity of students. They spend 3 to 4 days with us. We go through their project. We help them design it. They do everything in the brewery, but it's mainly also the business system. we do everything, but then it continues on until they open. Benson Brewery, which is getting ready to open in Omaha, or Benson, which is outside of Omaha. Those guys took our class 2.5 years ago, I think, and they're just now getting ready to open. It's going to be really cool. Mischief Brewing in Phoenix took the class, I think, over 2 years ago. They just came out to Ridgeway, bought a new kettle from a friend who we taught how to build kettles, and bought my original mash tun from Colorado Boy, and they're even going to keep the sticker on the side. So it takes them some time, but we keep working with people until they're open, and then afterwards we're all friends. So
right. This sounds like the best brewing class on earth. A lot of times when we talk to professional brewers on the program, I'll ask them how they feel about formal brewing education. And of course, they'll all say that it's a valuable tool, and some even say it's imperative. But most often we hear, if the real world experience is what you need. And what you're saying is you're taking a guy right into your brew pub and showing them how to brew the beer, how to run the equipment, then how to run the business, and then help them all the way to market. This is the best brewing class on the planet.
Well, it's all about getting it. Well, it's ego driven. We've had 55 students and we've got 30 breweries open, and so that makes me look good.
That it does, yeah.
But it's it's more than. I'm assuming that most people can brew beer, so we're not really teaching how to brew beer. We're teaching how to brew beer on a big system.
Okay.
Some have really hardly any experience, but most are. They come in and they're like asking me about the Maillard reaction of this and that. And I'm like, I don't know. Here, put the grain in here.
Yeah, you're like, there's another book for that. It's not this class.
Yeah, the Mallards will show up in a while.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a practical education. It's a crash course.
It's a crash course. They clean kegs. They do everything. But we also do yeast cell counts, and all that. And we also design a system for them that they can afford. Hopefully most people that take the class haven't bought their system yet. I love it when they show up. I ask them, what's your budget for equipment? They say 100, 150 or whatever. They go, oh, great. I just saved you 50 or 75,000.
Wow.
Because you can source the equipment out there and have a really nice 7-barrel system for about 50,000. You can go less than that if you franken it.
Tom, you are speaking heresy on this program. Everybody who comes on here talks about the, $1 million brewery.
Who they had to borrow from.
And
who they
had to kill
crazy.
for it.
It's crazy. I know. I went to a talk at the Brewers Conference, and they're like going, like the winers guys say, to make $1 million in the wine business, you need $2 million. It's just not that way. If you look at, at Ska and Avery and all those guys, they totally frankenbrewed everything at the beginning. Sierra Nevada being the best example.
Sure.
And that's how you grow. You save your cash. Eventually you get those really nice systems, but you do it when you can afford it.
Right. That makes sense. And, I stopped in at Lagunitas this week, Tasty, on my way out, and I was lucky enough to run into the owner. And he was mentioning, they're very open over at that brewery. And, they're spending a lot of money on equipment right now. But the way he was explaining to me is he was like, every dollar I spend at this point in our career is $1 saved. Because it's, at the volume that we're doing, we're saving on staff, we're saving on hours, we're saving on everything. So spending money at this point is where you do it.
Yeah, oh yeah. But that was Lagunitas. They've been around a long time. They're great brewers, and they started with small equipment too.
Sure, they've been through their Frankenbrew phase, right?
Right. Yeah, everybody does it.
So, do I have to be a master welder, or is the video Frankenbrew and the brewery operations manual going to even guide a dummy like me through it?
Yeah, you don't have to be a master welder. You can find a welder out there. The hard part is your conditioning tanks, because there aren't any Grundys out there. But a basic, bathtub dairy tank is a great hot liquor tank, a great mash tun, and a great fermenter. And you can pick those up still for $500 to $1,500.
Okay,
they're cheap. The kettle is another story. Nigel Askew at Horsefly Brewing up in Montrose, just north of us, he actually has a couple Grundys that he's got as kettles, and he's got some other tank he's going to fire and turn it into a 15-barrel kettle, not spend any money.
Wow!
So you could, this stuff's out there.
And you say that you can find a welder, and a lot of people are just finding their buddies that they've known for a while. It's, one guy's an electrician, the other guy's a welder. For me, Doc is all those things. I call Doc, and you do my electricity, my welding, my everything. But
everybody wants to help with a brewery. I mean, it's easy to do trades and things like that, so you don't need as much cash.
And that's a big part of it, isn't it? I mean, you really have to reach out to the resources. I think you're right. Everyone wants to help a brewery.
Well, in the book, I outline 3 steps. The first step is money, and I show how you get there. Because part of it is going to be trades.
Okay.
You can save a bunch that way. It's going to be family, friends. It's going to be selling some things, maybe a 401k, and it might be getting the landlord to pitch in a little bit of tenant improvement. But you can come up with. And then the other thing is getting a good facility to start with. I always say if you can find that existing restaurant that turn into a pub, you're not going to spend any money,
right?
Because everything's there.
That's a good call.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to worry about. That makes sense.
Well,
like
and it's just,
outlets and all that kind of stuff.
Drains
right?
in the floor behind the bar. I mean, there's a number of things that are so special to a restaurant, and for that matter, a bar.
Or at least it'll save you money.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. I did a talk in Colorado Springs about Frankenbrew, and I was staying in this hotel right off the highway, and right in front of this Hilton was a Chick-fil-A for lease. And I was going, that is a perfect little pub. It's right on the highway on a major road, right in front of a hotel.
Yeah.
It's got bathrooms up to code. The office already has a safe. It's already got a sound system. It's got floor drains. It's got ventilation, HVAC, all that stuff.
Sure.
You just got to paint it and decorate it and make it funky.
So in some ways, people need to stop walking into, and I'm just going to throw it out there because it's the grand example. They got to stop going to Stone Brewing World headquarters and say, well, this is the only way to open a brewery.
Right.
Yes, and you can only drive a Ferrari. I mean, let's start somewhere.
Right. Sure. I'm still fine with my Volkswagen, my really old Volkswagen, and I could open in a shitty old building. That'd be fine by me.
We did.
I think that's true. First it was my house, and now it's this one.
Right.
Well, what you have to do, one thing we teach is this thing we call the oyster, which is basically the concept. And it's made up of the music, the lighting, temperature, cleanliness, and stage setting. So it's like, what are you going to do that's going to make your business different from everybody else? Some students of ours are opening up a place called McLeod Brewing in L.A., and he's Scottish, and she's a bagpipe teacher. I said, well, how about doing an all-cask ale brewery? And they're in a warehouse, but by being an all-cask ale brewery, all of a sudden they stand out in California, where there's 300 and something breweries.
This is an excellent point. You got to find your niche in the market, right?
Yeah, and it's not the same pie. Just invent new pies.
Sure.
Well, how do you walk the line, though, between standing out and limiting yourself and limiting your customer base?
Well, if you're in a town like where I am, where we have 800 people, you can't do that. But if you're in L.A., there's enough people for your particular niche, I would think, to satisfy your needs.
That's a good point, and you got to look at each market where you're opening up in that sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, we brew basic English style ales. I like easy drinking beers that appeal to everybody. I love cask ale.
You have opened and sold 5 different brew pubs.
Yes.
And you're on your 6th now.
Yeah, well, actually, 2 of them were microbreweries.
Okay.
One of them was a big packaging brewery.
Do you just do you build it and you get bored? You got to go build the next one, or do you feel like this has happened accidentally?
Well, 4 of them were with Il Vicino, which was a company I founded.
Okay.
And I was with them forever. The Palisade Brewery was a big packaging brewery, and I just wanted to try that out, the whole packaging thing. And I mean, I got to hand it for people that do that. I hate that business.
Really?
That's a tough business.
So you mean actually just producing bottled beer in volume is what you...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, doing that whole thing. And so then we moved to Ridgeway, and my wife and I were hiking in Scotland for our anniversary. And these little pubs and breweries were so cool. It just made me want to open a very small little intimate pub where there were no TVs. People could share a pint, talk, and Ridgeway was perfect for that.
Got it.
We're keeping it, though.
This is the one. You're staying.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You didn't make that announcement about any of the other ones?
No, I never did.
I like it.
Okay, then I believe you.
Yeah, man, I was worried. Yeah, right. All right, let's do this. I'd like to take a quick break because I think we've got some of your beer to try.
Yeah,
too,
we do.
From Colorado Boy Brewing. So
I did not know this.
If we could take a break, I want to come back and talk more about Frankenbrew also because we haven't gone into the video too much. I want to try your beer and get some questions from our listeners. Can you hang out for a sec?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, we're going to do a quick 5-minute break here, folks. If you can hang in there with us, we'll come back with Tom Hennessy. He's the owner and head brewer at Colorado Boy Pub and Brewery. Also, the author of Brewery Operations Manual. And he created Frankenbrew. Lots of information to be gleaned. 888-401-BEER if you want to ask. Or hit the chat button and send your questions over to Bevo. We'll be right back. It's The Session.
Listening to the Brewcasters.
On the Brewing Network.
Hi, I'm Jason Harris, the proud owner here at Keystone Homebrew Supply. We're thrilled to be entering our 20th year of supplying this great industry, and to show you, the Brewing Network Army, how much we appreciate your support, we're offering you 10% off your first order on our website, KeystoneHomebrew.com. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and I'll get your order out the same day. My goal at Keystone Homebrew Supply has always been to have a complete supply of everything a brewer could want. When you place your order online or when you come into our store, it's our goal to have everything on your list and more. One aspect of KeystoneHomebrew.com that we're really excited about is the ability to fulfill customers' exact grain bills. Do you hate to wait? Keystone Homebrew Supply can get your precious yeast and hops to you within just one day if you live between Connecticut and Virginia, and within 2 days east of the Mississippi. KeystoneHomebrew.com. Coupon code BNARMY. I'm Jason Harris, and I approve this message.
Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like AHA member deals that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and eZymergy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love, and access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your homebrewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association.
Tin, Getting tired of that same old handcrafted beverages day after day? Are you looking for something with more diversity than your normal beer? Fellow BN Army member Michael Fairbrother, owner of Moonlight Meadery, is reviving an entire beverage category, mead.
The meads at Moonlight Meadery are all handcrafted from the finest honey on the market and are perfect for any occasion, like weddings, baby showers, or...
Excuse me? Mead is not your average girly drink, mister, and Moonlight Meads can be enjoyed anytime, anywhere. Football games with the guys.
Yeah.
Barbecues with the guys.
Yeah.
Operating power tools with the guys.
Yeah.
Actually, sir, that's really dangerous.
Good point, son.
Next time you have something to celebrate or are just looking for a new tasting experience, pick up a bottle of mead from Moonlight Meadery. Now in 21 states, making over 60 varieties of mead from dry, semi-sweet to sweet.
Break out of that craft beer lull. Grab a bottle of Moonlight Mead. Can't find some? Then ask. No, make that demand some.
Yeah!
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about my favorite heretic beer, Shallow Grave Porter. I love the rich, malty character of this beer. While full and rich, Shallow Grave has an easy drinking finish that isn't too sweet. I've always loved my homebrew porter recipe, so when it's time to brew Heretic Shallow Grave, I started with that in mind. But I tweaked it with all my latest recipe ideas. Just like in homebrewing, I made sure we used only the finest malts that would produce the ideal flavor for this beer. We used select British malts to get the rich chocolate and caramel flavors, and we spared no expense. The result is a beer as dark as a moonless night, with hints of vanilla, coffee, and chocolate. Perfect for a cool evening out in the woods. Cheers.
What'd you get? More brewing ingredients?
Yep. You know what I love about Brewmaster's Warehouse?
The $6.99 shipping.
Well, yeah, but...
Oh, the in-store classes for beginning brewers.
Yeah, that's cool, but...
Oh, the Brew Builder. Creating and saving your recipes online is awesome!
No, yes, but...
The cheese-making supplies.
No.
Oh, the wine-making supplies. Oh, the distilling equipment and liquor flavorings.
All that stuff is awesome, yes, but what I really love is that the guy who runs it is totally hot. And that Brew Builder software is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Brewmaster's Warehouse brings you flat rate shipping on great equipment and ingredients to make beer, wine, cheese, and spirits at brewmasterswarehouse.com. And if you're in Georgia, stop by Brewmaster's Warehouse Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Visit brewmasterswarehouse.com today because it's totally hot.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny is brewers will say, yeah, I don't brew to stop. I'm brewing my own beer. And it's like a German Pilsner, but it's black. Yeah, it's a sports beer. You know?
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session.
tuned into The Session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
Yeah, welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're looking for a way to design your recipes at home and use the best brewing software out there, go to beersmith.com. Get your free 21-day trial right now. Also, they've got Beersmith Mobile on sale right now for the iPhone, the iPad, the Android, the Kindle Fire. You can go check it all out. Make your recipes on the go. It's a badass little piece of software. It works both on the Microsoft platform as well as the Apple platform. And but you don't have to take our word for it. You can use your free 21-day trial. I'm pretty confident that you're going to love it, and so is Beersmith. We use it here now because it's just awesome. It's up to date, and it's really good stuff. Check it out over at beersmith.com. We're still talking to Tom Hennessy. He's the owner and head brewer of Colorado Boy Pub and Brewery, and he's also written a brewery operations manual, which is a complete to-do list that will guide you through the maze of events necessary to open your own brewery without spending the family fortune. He also created and hosted the video Frankenbrew, and that'll even show you how to do it, which is better for me. I'm that dumb. I need to see it.
I want the video just to do it. I want to plug the video into a robot
and have the robot
just do it.
Absolutely. What made you, Tom, decide to do the video Frankenbrew back in '95? You did it, right?
Yeah, I've got dark hair, which I don't have anymore. Well, I think I even explained it in that video. It's when I started going to McMinim's and everything, I couldn't speak the language. I didn't know what a tri-clamp was. It was really difficult. And that's when I think brewing was starting to take off then, and JV Northwest and all these great companies were selling very expensive systems. So I just thought it would be fun to do this video showing, how you could do it cheaply, like the McMinimum way. So that's kind of the genesis of it.
Got it. And obviously, created based on your research of those type of pubs, but then in your own experience doing it as well.
Yeah, I had it in, the one in Salida and the one in Albuquerque. And then I interviewed different breweries that were doing the same thing. I mean, if I could redo the video today, I'd probably cut out this one guy who's in Santa Fe who talks forever and ever. And he didn't survive. Everybody else is, they survived and were great. But
got it.
I could get rid of him.
Now, you talk about that from a video perspective, and I can understand that. I would cut out half of every show we've ever done. But what I want to ask more is, what about between now and then some of the tutorials that you've given and the even advice that you've given about equipment? Is there anything that has really changed in the last several years?
I may have told you this in an email, but the one thing that's in that video that I wouldn't do is in the conditioning tanks, I show a standpipe that I make out of PVC, 1-inch PVC, just kind of jam it in the bottom, and that works great. The pH is low, blah, blah, blah. But in that video, I was using it as my racking arm in the fermenters, and I would never do that to this day. And then the other thing is the false bottom I have for the mash tun is just a perforated false bottom that's in the bottom, and even when you look at the video, you can see how much grain's going through. That's crazy. I've since discovered the basic home brew method of if you just use a copper pipe and you make the slits one every inch, it lauders beautifully.
Really? That's better than an actual screen on there on your scale.
V-wire is probably the best, but
it's as good, or it works.
Wow. That surprises me.
That's what I had when I started Colorado Boy. I just went with one of those, and I used it for 3 years. I have a regular mash tun now, but it worked so well I didn't Vorloff. I didn't recirculate because what you're supposed to do is you don't transfer from your mash tun to your kettle until you have less than 5 grams of solids per 1,000 milliliters. 5 milliliters per 1,000 milliliters of solids. Then you're good. In that Frankenbrew video, you can just see tons of grain.
I see.
It's crazy. But other than that, I mean, everything else is totally works.
Still pretty the same. I mean, I do like that about brewing technology. It makes our job difficult on the show sometimes because we're a lot of times we're asking for new tips and tricks, but they're a little bit far in between, few and far between.
Well, I actually have this idea for another book, and I started it, but I've got I just finished a pizzeria, so I haven't had time. But it was basically called Franken Brewers, and it's like 100 different ideas from different breweries of what people have done, which are really great ideas. Like Glenwood Canyon in Colorado has this system for transferring to the bright tank and carbonating in line. And it's like it saves them, it's like immediately carbonated, and it's a total Frankenbrew thing. Doesn't cost anything. So I need to finish that and just put all these ideas together and just put it out there.
Put out another one, yeah. Sure. Now you can just put it on iTunes. You don't even have to create the DVD.
No more videos.
It gets even easier.
What do you have against DVD?
So. Yeah. We haven't learned that lesson here at the Brewing Network yet, but I hear you can do that. It's what you can do.
I hear you cannot also.
Now, we're drinking your Irish Red Ale from Colorado Boy Pub and Brewery. What can you tell us about this beer? Give us some of the recipe details, if you don't mind.
Well, first of all, I can tell you, I took that bottle, filled it up off the tap, capped it, and sent it to you.
Well, now here, I knew this for two reasons. One is that you told me already that you hate packaging beer, and two, it's that you taped your label onto the bottle.
I did.
But we appreciate you sending us beer.
No, for the GABF, I do, counter pressure, and I pre-evacuate the bottles and do all that. But, it's like filling a growler. You're going to drink it right away. It's fun. But anyway, that beer is one of our most populars. We've won different medals with it. And the key is malt. I actually used to scorch the malt in the brew kettle. And at the GABF last year, I don't know what I was thinking, but when we were brewing that beer, we used to do a 12-minute scorch, and then we would turn it off, the kettle off until the wort got to a certain level, and then we turn it back on. And Elliot is our brewer. I'm going, Elliot, let's go 18 minutes. And then I'm trying the beer at the GABF and going, why does this taste like burnt tobacco?
Oh, no. So
I've actually gotten away from scorching altogether.
Now, when you say scorching, it sounds like you have an actual process down there. Is it just a couple of inches of wort that you're actually?
Well, I turn the kettle on. What I used to do is I turn the kettle on as soon as the wort's going in, and it sizzles for 12 minutes before I turn it off to create a more of a candy-like quality. But it's essentially a 2-row. With 120 Lovibond, some Vienna malt, some 40 Lovibond, a handful of roasted barley, and I'm not sure what else. And then some Kent Goldings in the Whirlpool.
Okay.
Nugget for bittering.
See, and you pretend you don't know anything about melanoidins.
Isn't that cancer?
He's too mellow about it. You can definitely taste those kind of caramely, Maillard reactions.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a nice traditional Irish red.
Yeah, people love it.
Can you talk to us about yeast? Something that homebrewers can get? Do you use one of the...
I try to use just a big flocculation bomb, so I'm using like White Labs 2.
Okay.
Which is based off of Fuller's ESB yeast, is my house yeast. It ferments really fast. I give it a really healthy diacetyl rest. Now, I used to, back when I had Il Vicino, we won a lot of medals with Ringwood, Pride of Ringwood, 1187, which I love that yeast. But it's more temperamental. And so for a house yeast, this one is really easy and clears up really well and ferments fast.
Guys, we haven't heard Pride of Ringwood on the show in quite some time. I haven't heard a brewer mention that one. I am familiar with it. I've never used it either, but...
I still use it occasionally. But our yeast, the way it is, I can brew... If I brew on a Tuesday, it will be fermented, have its diacetyl rest, and drop it out, drop the temperature, and I can transfer it to a conditioning tank the following Monday and brew back into the same tank on Tuesday. So
wow.
For you guys that want to save some money, a good yeast like that will do it.
Okay.
You have less tanks.
What about temperature for the Fuller's yeast that you're using?
I'm fermenting at 69.
Okay, that's a little bit on the warm side.
Well, it's I think it's 64 to 70, 71, something like that.
I see, and that's just where it kind of dials in your fermenters.
I'm really happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And how fast is that ferment for you with the Fullers?
It's pretty much done in 4 days.
That's the same. Okay.
And then and I should mention what we're using for fermenters. To save space, I kept looking at these tanks from St. Pat's of Texas. Mm-hmm. And they're Latina wine tanks. They're $3,200 for 1,000 liters, which I can pretty much do 7 barrels unless it's a high gravity beer. And they're beautiful tanks. They're jacketed, but they're not insulated. But I've lagered in them.
Okay.
And they're 32 inches in diameter.
That reminds me, you mentioning them being jacketed and not insulated. I just wanted to ask you about you mentioned earlier fermenters that you built that had a copper coil jacket on them to keep them temp controlled.
Right. I coiled copper around, and then that's what circulates the glycol. And then I just took some bubble wrap and put it around. What they were is 3.5 barrel Grundys I used to have, and I stretched them. Oh. I had them stretched to 7 barrels.
How do you even do? You just add metal to the middle?
Yeah, I took it to this place called Dairy Engineering in Denver. They hated me for it because it was really difficult for them to do. Yeah, they basically lopped the top off and then extended it and then added it back on.
And then you literally just wrapped your standard kind of copper coil around it, ran a glycol system through.
Yeah, I created a header. It shows it on Frankenbrew, I think. It almost looks like a gate or something, and it gets wrapped around and tight, and then you take a rubber mallet and you just gently pound the copper to flatten it out a little bit. It works.
See, Tom is awesome because the technology that he's talking about is exactly the same technology that people are spending a lot of money for. Of course, it's refined. I don't mean to say it's not. Somebody else is refining it and charging you a premium for that. But the technology is exactly the same as Tom's describing.
Right. And you can do it at home, or not at home, but you can do it on your own.
Sure.
For less, and it works.
Well, see, I think what I would do is I would take a keg as a home brewer, just a basic keg, and I would take the middle section, which is kind of indented on a regular keg, a half barrel, and I would wrap coil around that. I'd put a tri-clamp in the bottom, and it would make an awesome fermenter. And then what I would do to control it is I would go on eBay and buy a water cooler, an old water cooler. You can sometimes they're like $25.
Yeah,
they have little compressors, and I'd hook that up to it. And you'd have this amazing little 15 gallons. So I would use it for 10 gallons, and you'd have totally controlled fermentation. I see no reason why it wouldn't work.
This is a great idea. Our sponsors hate you right now, Tom.
Well, they shouldn't. They shouldn't, because everybody that's done Frankenbrew has a JV Northwest system, or they've got some really great 20-barrel system.
Sure. No, and you're absolutely right. And even our homebrew sponsors, they know this. They started, showing people how to build this stuff too. And again, you can buy the refined version, or you can do it yourself, and they don't care either way.
Well, it just gets you started. Once you get started, you're hooked, and then you're good. Try to find a brewer that's not expanding or buying more equipment, home brewer or regular brewer.
Exactly, that's true.
Tom, you mentioned that these fermenters were 32 inches in diameter, and then you also that they're 3,200 barrels or 3,200 gallons. I guess that's 100 barrels. How tall are these things?
No, they're not. They're 7 barrels. They're
7 barrels. Oh, I thought you.
265 gallons. So they're about 8 feet tall.
I think they're pretty tall. Yeah,
got it.
And I was just going to add that you at the higher, taller tanks like that, you can ferment at higher temperatures. The pressure will restrain the yeast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they work. They work great.
Yeah.
For lagers and ales.
Oh, so you lager as well?
Yeah, in the winter when we have a little more capacity, I always do I love this Dortmunder lager we do, and we do pilsners and what else.
Very nice.
We fit in. I mean, our entire brewery, restaurant, seating area, storage, office, bathroom, kitchen is 1,200 square feet.
Whoa!
Colorado Boy is small.
Wow. Yeah, you are doing it right.
It's a 7-barrel system.
And I have in my notes, and I just bring this up because of the size that you're talking about and the capacity. A lot of brewers come on and tell us, to make the real money, if you're going to make a whole bunch of money, you got to make more beer. It sounds like your philosophy is a little different, especially when I read that you and your wife are part-time rangers, like park rangers.
Yeah, we've done that for the last 10 years.
So you're at the brewery, enough of the time to make your, brew the 7 barrels at a time, and then you're off gallivanting in the woods,
helping Smokey out.
Yeah,
like Brickleberry.
I love it.
We were. Now we just opened another business. But
wow,
there's a really good philosophy that my friend Mark Youngquist used to be head brewer for Rock Bottom. He now has a really cool little brewery in Dolores, Colorado.
Okay,
Dolores Brewing Company, and he says I'd rather sell less beer for more than more beer for less.
Yeah.
And so that's, again, gets into the whole packaging thing. If you brew 7 barrels a week and, that's your little brewery and you've got a tasting room, you sell 7 barrels a week, that's about $25,000 a month in beer sales. You can live off that.
Sure. Absolutely. See, these are numbers I like to hear from you. You're a very practical brewer, and we just don't hear it that often. So it's nice to hear somebody say, look, if you're making the right decisions, you can do this.
Oh yeah, as long as you don't have big rent and big costs. But I mean, that's literally brewing. If you brew once a week, it's a 3-day work week. That's 7 barrels.
I quit.
That's why do nano if you have to, but if you can afford it, go 7 barrels.
Right. See, everyone's been telling me all these years that you can't do it, and I'm ready to quit now. I love this 3-day work week.
Well, you can do it in addition to this. You don't need to quit.
Then I got to work 4 days here and 3 days there.
But it involves brewing beer.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
For me.
Plus, you got a bartender. Don't forget that.
That's true.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, I can sling some drinks. That's okay. What do we have here, Moscow? What's in our glass here, Scott?
This is the IPA.
I love the flavor, the hot flavor of this IPA. Now it's not it's not the big West Coast IPA that we have in here sometimes, but it has a very, very nice and distinct hop flavor to it.
Well, hopefully it's got balance. It's got enough malt to balance it.
It does.
I don't want to do IPAs that rip the enamel off your teeth.
No, it's balanced, and it's not. And I think what I mean is that it's a very clear and it's distinct. It's not a muddled hop flavor.
It's morphed over the years, but that basic recipe, the first medal I got was a bronze medal at the JBF in '95, and then a World Beer Cup gold in '96.
Nice.
And I've changed it with hops and a few things, but it's essentially the same recipe I've been brewing forever. And back then, the high Plato, high gravity for IPA was 15 Plato, and that's what that beer is.
Okay.
Now the low is 14.7, I think.
Right. So people must come in and say, "Oh, this is a nice pale ale that you have here."
well, now what I do is I enter it in the ESB category. That's where we got a bronze a couple years ago at the GABF.
Oh, I could see that doing very well as an ESB. Can you tell what hops are in it?
It's got local hops for bittering, which is Nugget. that are grown in western Colorado.
Okay.
I've gotten away from Centennial. I've gotten away from Cascade. I'm using Crystal, which are local, and I'm using Simcoe, which is unobtainium these days.
Yeah, we hear that quite a bit right now.
Yeah, I actually got Simcoe from New Belgium Brewery because I know them.
Very nice. I'm sure they have large Simcoe contracts.
Yes, they do.
That's very nice. And is it dry hopped as well?
Oh yeah. It's dry hopped with Crystal and Simcoe, massively dry hopped.
What is your most popular beer there?
It's the Irish and the IPA. That's why I sent you those two.
Got it.
Everybody likes those. We try to keep those on tap all the time, and we do cask versions of them. And then whatever else. Basically, we show up at the brewery and say, "What do we feel like brewing this week?"
Okay. Oh, what a great philosophy!
How many beers are on tap?
I've got 7 right now, which includes a cask, which is a lot because I only have 4 Grundy tanks.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. So I'm monitoring the chat to keep, or not the chat, the Twitter to keep up with the Twitter game. And Brewing Mischief says, meeting Tom Hennessy is one of the best things that has happened to me.
Wow.
Head on over to the Brewing Network and listen to him speak his wisdom.
Okay.
One of the best things. No one's ever said that about us.
Well, this is kind of what I keep saying about Tom is in this practical view that he has. It sounds like you can go in and talk to Tom and come out going, wait a second, I actually can do this without selling everything I own.
Well, that's the idea. But I bet you could talk to a lot of other breweries, and they would help you too.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's see. I did have a couple questions come through from the chat for me, too. Fierce Beard in the chat room wants to know if you'll be publishing your books as e-books anytime soon, because he's made the switch to e-books.
Yes, hopefully by the end of summer I'll have it. What I want to do, which would be really cool with the ebook version, is there'll be links to videos, and it could be a 30-minute video showing how to do one thing. I've been posting a bunch of little videos on our website, coloradoboy.com, so they'll be like that, really amateurish, but they show, you know how a tri-clamp fits or something.
But that's awesome. I'm glad that you bring up that they're really amateurish. Amateur is the new professional in terms of short videos and content. And just don't be afraid to put a video. If you know what you're doing and you're actually showing some real content, it does not matter anymore that it's amateur, because people want to watch it. They want to watch it on their phone. They want to watch it in 2 minutes. It's just about the information.
But that's what you said. The key right there is short.
Yeah.
No one wants a 9-minute video on how to do something, because you're going to lose people.
Right.
3 minutes and under. That's it.
If Tom's jumping on there and showing me how to use a tri-clover clamp, I think a lot of people would love it.
You have 9 minutes for a tri-clover clamp.
Right. Tom, how long does it take you to connect a tri-clover clamp?
It's seconds. Here's the key, really quick with the tri-clamp. Is you put the clamp on the top so that the clamp part falls down and lets gravity hang there, so that then you can take the bottom part and bring it right up, and then you can do it with one hand. A lot of people do it the other way around, and I don't know if that makes sense what I just said. But
the joint goes on the top.
Let gravity work for you. And
it does make sense.
It's a one-handed deal.
And I timed it, and it took him 18 seconds to deliver that message, and that is fantastic information.
You got your insert.
If you really do, it wouldn't take that long.
You got your out, so you're 26 seconds, dude, right there. Boom.
Yeah. Another, I don't know what his name is, but another chat room listener writes in, I would like to know if Tom helps, I think he's talking about your students that come through the class, if he helps them troubleshoot their beers to make the beers better after they open, or do you take a hands-off approach to the beer side of the business?
No, we do. We actually, all the past students, we've got a forum, our own little forum. So we all help each other. So people post questions about anything on our forum, and then it's all the guys who've opened their own breweries or the ones that are in planning. We all kind of kick in and problem solve. So it's not just me.
Okay. And it looks like some of you may have tuned in just a little bit late because there's some questions about what Tom means by his students, and that is that Tom actually will bring in a one-on-one person. It's a one-person class, and put people through a crash course right at his brewery, teaching them a bit about how to operate a commercial brew system and how to run the business too. And that's what he means by his students. And of course, now you'll have a bunch of students reading a brewery operations manual.
Well, it's cheaper than taking the class.
That it is. And, again, Tom, I like the approach because I do think that there's a place for a program like UC Davis, which really dives into all the science around brewing. There are brewery jobs that require that, big production facilities and things like that. But I also think there's a place for this hands-on, stripped-down approach to teaching people how to brew beer, because it doesn't have to be rocket science.
No, and our focus is so much more than teaching how to brew beer. It's what do we need to do to get you to open a brewery? That's the whole purpose.
Got it. Because we need more, and I believe in this philosophy.
Well, you probably know this. I mean, there's over 7,000 wineries, and there's 2,500 breweries. And
it's amazing.
Think about 25 years ago how many coffee houses there were. It was hard to find a good cup of coffee, and now every tiny town has 2 or 3.
Right. Well, or you can come to San Francisco and every block has 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's right.
I do fear. Do you worry about there being too many craft breweries? Is it going to get too saturated?
I think packaging breweries, it's going to get saturated. But if you whatever town you live in, if you're in Bemidji and you've got a really cool little pub, you can compete with anybody in your town. So you have nothing to worry about.
That's a good call. And it used to be that way in some countries, right? Where every village had a brewery.
We did in the U.S. I mean, in the late 1890s, there were 2,000 breweries, and the population was nothing back then.
Right.
Bemidji.
Do you have any idea if there's an equivalent of you, Tom, in the wine industry, for example?
I don't know. I make wine as an amateur. I'd like to find that person.
Charles Shaw, dude.
But I think Frankenbrew applies to wineries too. I just don't know how wineries make money, because they've got to. I could make a 6-pack of beer in 2 weeks. They sit on their product for a year.
Sure, and if that crop doesn't come out too well,
you're screwed.
Yeah,
that's a dusted crop.
Yeah, you get to blend different crops in and the whole deal. Or I guess even the people you're buying it from are doing that for you.
Well, yeah. When we were in Palisade, there were 15 wineries there, and I would trade wine for beer. During harvest, the crush and everything, they always wanted our kegs for the workers. We got their wine. It was a good deal.
Well, in wine, you have a lot of additives, and you can add tannins, and you can do all these kind of booster things to kind of, make it tweak out the wine if it's not exactly what you want it to be. But beer is kind of very limited.
Well, then why are so many of the wines I have so bad?
Because the people who make them don't understand what they're doing.
I see.
They don't understand fermentation.
And I don't mean that I don't like wine, because I actually really enjoy wine.
I love wine. Wine's
but
great.
It's hard to find a good wine.
It's
that's affordable.
It's hard to find a good wine.
Well, true. That's affordable too. Yeah. All right. Well, we are running out of time, Tom. But I did want to just bring up, because it's in my notes here, and I find it interesting. But you took a trip to India back in '95 and found a local brewery there, and I wanted to ask you about that.
To Skyrim, India?
Yeah, that was so cool. I mean, that says everything about why you should be in this business. It was in the Himalayas, and there was this brewery. We said, "Oh, well, let's go check it out." We got to the gate, and they're like, there's no tours. You're not even allowed in here." They had armed guards.
Wow.
And I said, "Well, can you call in? Tell them I'm a brewer. I have a brewery in Colorado." And they did. They called up, and next thing you know, the brewer and the chemist show up, and we got this 2-hour brewery tour. Sounds like Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
And we wound up drinking beer in their lab out of beakers. And when we left, they gave us cases of beer, and it's the brotherhood. It was amazing.
So here they are now. Obviously, a successful brewery there. If they have to lock the gates and keep people out.
Oh yeah, it's a big brewery.
Right,
it's huge.
Is it really? Is it kind of like would it be the equivalent of a macro brewery?
Yeah.
I see.
It's called Yucksum Brewery.
Got it. But they opened it right up to a fellow brewer.
It's good marketing.
They did. Yeah,
nice.
All they did is one beer. It's called Tiger Light Lager or something. I don't know what it was, but it was good. And they were really cool guys. Yeah, I've got a picture. I think I've posted it on our Facebook page.
It does open and for homebrewers too. It does open doors, both with other people who might be homebrewers. Everybody is interested in beer, and then even on the professional side, it opens doors. People want to invite you in if you know something about beer, as long as you're not the douchebag who asks too many stupid questions. But
no, I can always spot him in the pub. I see the guy with his date or whatever, and he's not looking at her. He's looking at the equipment.
Right.
So with the brewing equipment. So I go over there and I say, "Do you want a tour?" Because I know he does, and sure enough, and we're standing in the brewery having a beer, and it's cool.
It is cool. I got a bunch of Hungarians at my house putting in a fence right now. My fence is falling down, and it took them all of 12 minutes of arriving at my house. My home brewery's in the backyard.
Yeah.
The Brewing Network trailer is in the front yard. And we're talking beer within 12 minutes. And they're just so interested in the home. They're telling me about Hungarian beer, and I'm telling them about how we're in the craft beer industry. And, of course, we all come together in the middle when we all say Budweiser is water. And I realized instantly it's just beer is the international language.
Budweiser is water! It's crappy! It's not good for you! You
Pretty
not
sure
drink
that's
it!
not how Hungarian people sound.
Shut up in your face! You make me cry with your ignorant faces!
Yes.
Shut up your face!
No, that's exactly how they sounded. Yeah.
I'm sorry, just is my heritage and stuff. So
you racist person in booth.
You have a caller on line 1.
It's Hungarian.
Scott.
Moscow.
Shut up. He has a question for the guest.
All right.
Yell at me.
Scott, have you got a question for Tom?
Hey, Justin, I sure do. Guys, you're in my living room almost every day. You realize that?
No,
Tom,
thanks,
I
buddy.
realize
I'm
our
sorry.
time is short here. I lost the better part of my vision in 2004. I've been brewing on a small scale, 10, 15 gallons since since the late 90s. And what you're saying is just like making my head spin. I brew with a little help from some friends. Get high with a little help from some friends.
Sure.
But is it at all feasible that someone in my situation? I mean, I wouldn't expect even a craft brewer to even let me in the door. But to even think about, a nano or on a small scale like that, what you're saying is like, hey, this is possible, this is reasonable. But with my situation, I don't know if it's even realistic.
I don't know how limited your vision is, but if you have somebody that's brewing with you, your sense of smell and your taste is probably heightened. It may turn into a real asset.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe the sounds that with people with vision, what they miss. People talk about boilovers. You can hear that before it happens.
Oh, sure you can. When the pump starts to cavitate, there's so many things that you get in tune with. I don't know your situation, but I see no reason why not.
That's great. That offers some hope.
Listen,
I'm only
man.
halfway crazy now.
See, you don't have very good vision. I'm half an idiot, and I think you're going to be fine, buddy.
Good thing you have friends.
Justin, we're both from Connecticut, man. We'll make it one damn way or another.
There you go. Hey, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to open a brewery with Scott. One of us is dumb, the other one's blind. And I'll bet you it'll be the best brewery on earth.
We're going to call it, we're from Connecticut. Go figure.
Yeah. It'll be the best on earth, man.
You're going to call it,
You got to find a deaf guy.
What?
That's right.
Deaf, dumb, and blind.
Exactly.
Our label can have the 3 monkeys on it.
You got great marketing potential.
We do. See, our beer can suck. We have good marketing. All right, thanks for the call, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Can he find the hang up the phone?
It's there.
There's no reason why he couldn't do that,
right? It's probably more reason for him to open his own than to apply for a job somewhere else, because everyone else is going to be worried about insurance or anything else.
Right?
Open your own, you'll be fine.
Yeah. No, you could be a master craftsman. You don't have to. Jeez.
Yeah. You can't see inside a Grundy anyway, right? It's got a little glass window, but
clean in place, dude. Who cares?
Yeah, it's clean in place. Yeah, you can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
It's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Hennessy, what a wonderful guest. He is the owner and head brewer at Colorado Boy Pub and Brewery. What's the web address once more, Tom?
ColoradoBoy.com.
And where can people purchase the brewery operations manual? As well as Frankenbrew, actually.
You could just go on our website, coloradoboy.com, or you can just do a Google search for breweryoperationsmanual.com. That's a mouthful, though.
Okay. And is Frankenbrew available there as well?
That's through Beer Talk.
Beer Talk, okay.
Not Beer Talk. What's Beer Books? That's it.
Got it. Okay. You can search Frankenbrew, and you'll find it. Great DVD, great book, and Don't be discouraged. Tom's message to me is don't be discouraged. Get in there and do it, and stop spending the family fortune.
Yeah, keep your overhead low. It solves a lot of problems.
Yeah. Justin, you better listen to him.
I am.
Don't get discouraged.
Yes. Tom, thanks so much for spending time with us today. I appreciate it.
And thanks for sending all the beer.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you again. Thank you. Cheers.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
There you go, Tom Hennessy. And what a great dude. Spending a lot of time teaching other people to brew.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's awesome.
Not just teaching them. I got them all the way through the process of opening the door. I mean,
yeah.
It's a great, it's really, that is the goal. It's not to have a brew pub, it's to have an operating brew pub. You know?
Sure. I love the one-on-one class, and it's not much out of his time. If you think about it, he's like, look, I'm probably running this place all week anyway. Why don't I bring in one person every now and then? I'll teach them the whole deal while they're at it. Change somebody's life. Yeah. I mean, think about it. He's changing somebody's life. What did he say? 30 out of 50 people or something that have come through his class have opened their own place.
And those are just the owner-operator. Like, think about the trickle-down, all those people's families and friends.
I'd pat myself on the back every day for that. That's pretty impressive. That's something for him to be proud of.
Yeah, totally.
Well, it's better to go through all that than on the opening day.
Right, exactly. And again, even and I'm not knocking them, because I genuinely think there's a place for these, larger and more technical programs like at UC Davis and things like that. But you're not exactly walking out of there having run a day-to-day brew pub. Mm-hmm. And I think with Tom Hennessy's course, you are. So learn from the guy. Also, he's just, it sounds like he's just writing down what he's learned over the years and sharing it with you.
And he's having fun doing it. Like, he generally enjoys doing that. Clearly, he's done it 5-6 times, right?
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I got a little feedback to do. We're going to try some beer from Keith Mychek, who's hanging out in the studio with us. And, a couple other things. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Have you ever been stuck with a last-minute brewing question? Maybe on a new piece of equipment or a recipe kit you haven't tried before. The Brewmeister knows how that feels and is here for you. The Brewmeister prides themselves on personal service and advice to all of their customers, whether in-store or online. The Brewmeister is a full-fledged home brew store, too, with all the ingredients and gear you need to make great beer and wine. You'll be glad you visited shopbrewmeister.com or one of their stores in Roseville or Folsom when you need to pick up the phone and get your brewing questions answered fast. Visit shopbrewmeister.com right now and see the personal difference the great team at the Brewmeister have to offer. If you visit today, use coupon code BNARMY and get 10% off your first order. Some conditions apply. The Brewmeister, personal service and advice with exceptional quality. Shopbrewmeister.com.
There's an app on the iPhone for just about everything, including beer. Apps for finding a pint of beer. Apps that look like you're drinking a pint of beer. And now, there's an app for brewing a pint of beer. Introducing BrewPal, the most all-inclusive beer brewing app for professionals and hobbyists that fits in your pocket and goes wherever you do. Recipe formulation that can be imported and exported with a customizable database. Mash and sparge calculations, yeast pitching rates, carbonation tables, and more. Available right now for less coin than a pound of grain. See BrewPal in action at brewpal.info and download it for your iPhone at a special introductory price right now. BrewPal, all the brewing software you need, right in your pocket. Where do you go for all the stuff you need to brew? Homebrewstuff.com, of course. In their Boise, Idaho storefront and warehouse, they have more than 750 craft beers and 8,000 square feet of homebrew products in stock. The staff at Homebrew Stuff are homebrewers themselves. They try out just about everything, including the beer, so they can answer your questions knowledgeably and correctly about brewing, kegging, and anything else you might need to ask. Don't live near the Homebrew Stuff store? Visit homebrewstuff.com homebrewstuff.com online and take advantage of their $7.95 domestic shipping available on most orders. Homebrewstuff.com is a proud sponsor of the AHA, NHC, GABF, and countless other acronyms. So if you're a homebrewer looking for great people, a great selection, and great deals, head to homebrewstuff.com, online or in person. Visit their YouTube channel for loads of free how-to and product videos. All of the stuff you need to brew. Homebrewstuff.com. Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
When you hear Blickman Engineering, think innovation, passion, quality, and customer service. Blickman gear is designed by brewers to give you a sense of pride in your equipment. At Blickman, they know what makes brewing a pain and build gear that makes it fun. Like the intuitive beer gun, a completely different approach to filling bottles. The Therminator Wort Chiller, a new take on a plate chiller that's sized for flow, performance, and the high groundwater temps homebrewers face every day. The Brewmometer, a brilliant weldless thermometer design with brewing parameters right on the dial. The Autosparge, ultimate simplicity for preventing an overflow or running your mash tun dry. And much more, like the modular top-tier brewing stand, conical fermenters, and their Boilermaker brew pots. With more cutting-edge equipment coming soon, keep up with the latest from Blickman at blickmanengineering.com and stay on the cutting edge.
All right, BN Army, it's trivia time. What's the only homebrew shop with over 1,000 recipe kits, $4.99 shipping on orders over $100, and is also home of the Wolf Shirt? The one and only answer is Austin Homebrew Supply. For over 20 years, they've specialized in creating recipes such as the best-selling Texas Blonde Ale, Apocalypso, Hop Bomb 2.0, and Double Chocolate Stout. And they just recently unveiled their small grain kits that produce 1 gallon of beer. Visit AustinHomebrew.com to browse their extensive catalog of equipment and ingredients. They also have mini clone recipes of your favorite commercial beers. They're the exclusive retailer of Brew Vent Yeast Fuel as well, Yeast Nutrient, and the all-new Bodybuilder. Follow Austin Homebrew Supply on Google Plus to participate in video hangouts on popular brewing topics. So visit AustinHomebrew.com today and make sure you sign up for their weekly email with news and specials. Austin Homebrew Supply, AustinHomebrew.com.
Mix me your 100-grain amber recipe, and I'm going to eat it. And then it can ferment in my gut. It totally works. The beer is almost identical to the grain sandwich.
Your colon won't know what hit it.
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session.
I didn't mean to hurt your body. I didn't mean to steal her away. I know she meant a lot to your buddy, but she and I are here to stay. You know, I kinda had a feeling that something was wrong when I was drunk last night, but not as drunk as your mom. I know you don't like seeing us together. I don't your whole life. I still don't know just how we got together, but you started looking good around 5. You know, I kinda had a feeling that something was wrong when I was drunk last night, but not as drunk as your mom. me daddy, and I sure as hell ain't gonna call you son. I bet you never thought I'd be your daddy. Now go out back and mow the damn lawn. You know, I kinda had a feeling that something was wrong, 'cause I was drunk last night, but not as drunk as your mom. 'Cause I was drunk last night, but not as drunk as your mom.
888-401-BEER. This is The Session.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks to our guest, Tom Hennessy. What a badass talking to us for all that time and really teaching the world. Also, we had Christopher Mullins from McGillen's Old Ale House on the show earlier, and I just want to thank them both for being on the program and hanging out with us.
Tom Hennessy, he's healthy.
Healthy.
The guy has a stamp on it that says it's hair. I just want to talk like that, just like weird guttural. Is that you guys here to hair?
It makes you wish you had grown up in a place with an interesting accent, doesn't it? Like
How
that.
you gonna make it in your home if you don't have the facility to make sure it's healthy?
Yeah. No.
Do you have to yell everything?
Yes, that's part of it. If you have that kind of a thing going on, you have to yell.
It's the natural stage presence.
Imagine being his friend. Hey, it's great to see you. Wow, I love everything you're doing.
It's healthy.
Yeah. Wow.
That was good. That was a good interview. Really interesting.
Few more things to get to tonight. We haven't done your feedback yet because we had McGillen's on so early. So we're going to do a little feedback this segment. We're also going to try Keith's beer. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know where you can buy dildos and things. And that's over at adamandeve.com.
They're still doing butt plugs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get all, I mean, once in a program, we got to remind everybody where they can get their unmentionables.
That's what this segment's called. It's called butt plugs.
Remember when things were called unmentionables, Tasty?
Yeah.
Because I know you're the only one in the room who does.
I thought you were going to bring up the Adam and Eve thing a little earlier, because when you were talking about amateur videos, I was thinking, what a great segue.
Right.
But you didn't do it.
Is there an amateur on the DVD selection? There must be amateur.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I mean,
go over to adamandeve.com right now, and for a limited time, you get 50% off just about any one item. Plus, you can get free shipping. Plus, you get 3 free adult DVDs from categories such as amateur.
Many?
3.
Wow.
At 3, that lasts me like a whole afternoon. I mean, I don't. Why would you need more than 3? You know, you could watch one scene from each. If you're doing your thing 3 times a day, that'll last. What'll that last me? 9 days? Is that how it works? I don't know how many scenes are in a DVD nowadays.
25.
How many sessions?
25.
I don't know.
How many sessions in a day do you have?
Well, 7, 8.
Gosh.
It depends on if I'm working or not.
I'm thinking we should have pick a category.
So if you're working in the...
Then there's 7.
Then there's about 12.
Yeah.
And if I'm not working, there's 8.
His hand gets sore.
Yeah, as long as I don't get, as long as I have enough lotion.
I'm thinking we could...
do they sell lotion?
Click through the Amazon link on the homepage and buy some Jergens.
There you go.
Oh, really? That's
How
not
did you know?
slippery. It's not slippery enough.
Jergens.
Everybody just guess.
It rhymes with Jerkins.
It has the highest heat capacity.
Wouldn't regular lube work better?
No, it gets watery after a little while. I don't know. It's too.
Well, it depends.
Hey, you don't want to be a slave to the lube, too.
Yeah, I like a little friction. Lube is
well. Also, if you buy lube for sex, it makes you that much more sad because you're not using it for sex.
Right? You're like
lotion. At least you feel like, well, I'm lotioning up. Oh, I might as well do this.
Yeah, you're moisturizing your hands at the same time.
Right.
Especially JP, you're right. Especially when you have a partner, because you're like, I bought this and I've used 9/10 of it myself.
Alone. I think we should pick.
Could you watch this time?
I think we should pick a category and look at. This is my favorite movie, like favorite titles.
Pick one.
Cougars of Boobville.
Is that in the big boobs or the cougar?
It's in the big breasts.
I love that.
Cougars of Boobsville.
I want to move there.
I think I want to. I want to be the mayor of Boobsville. Or at least the secretary.
Yeah. Is Cougars a whole section?
I don't think it's that.
No, it'd be either
MILF?
mature or MILF.
It's MILF. It would be MILF. I wonder if Cougars of Boobsville is under MILFs also. Let's find out.
All right, so you can choose 3 free adult DVDs from some of the categories that we're talking about, plus a free gift so sensual we can't talk about it.
Nor should we, because that would be filthy.
I can't talk because I don't even know what it is.
AdamandEve.com. All you have to do to get all of these wonderful gifts is use coupon code BNARMY. That's BNARMY. Of course, we have a lot of fun with this ad, but we mean it. If you need your adult products, why go hang out at the creepy store when you can just go to AdamandEve.com and get all this cool free stuff?
Hang it on your creepy computer.
Check it
I also am sending you a question that somebody from the chat room just sent me over that they wanted to include in feedback. Please.
Is it the one from Mortar?
Oh, it's from Komodo.
I don't have it yet. I don't think you sent it to me.
Komodo.
It's coming. Hold on.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you said
It's
it.
coming.
You sent it.
So
All right.
sensual.
So a few things to do. I want to get us to feedback here in just a moment, but before that, we like to have listeners and friends in the studio every now and then. And Keith Mychek is in the studio with us today, and he brought us some beer. What is this first beer that we're trying here?
This is the what I'm now calling the Britannomysec.
Ah, nice.
Yes,
Very nice.
it's the second Orval clone that I did.
Okay, I had your first Orval clone.
I think you've had them both.
You did not fail at that one, that's for sure. And how old is this beer in front of us?
This one has got some age on it. I'm thinking it's about maybe 2 years, 3 years.
Nice. That's fucking Orval. That's Orval.
Is Orval an aged beer?
It's a sour beer, and occasionally it's aged. It depends on when you get it. Orval for me is a hit or miss beer.
It's just Brett. It's not,
Brett. Yeah.
Yeah, and it changes a lot when you know. That's the great thing about Orval, because when you get it fresh, you get a lot of dry hop flavor, and as it ages, not a lot of Brett. And then when it ages, then you get more Brett, but not the dry hop.
Yeah.
So this one I did differently than the first one. These are both of those that you tasted were BCS recipes.
Okay.
From Jameel, and the first time I used an Abbey yeast because I couldn't find the one in the book, and that one turned out great. But I followed it by the letter, and I dry hopped it, and then in the secondary, at the same time that I pitched the Brett.
Okay.
So I think it's more authentic to an Orval in that kind of condition. But I didn't like it. I liked both parts of that spectrum. So what I wanted to do is get a lot of dry hop flavor in the second one, and while the Brett was already there. So the second one, I aged it on the Brett first, then dry hopped it and bottled it right away.
And you like that better?
Yeah, and I think there's a Green Flash, that beer that hurt Kim. What was that? The
Le Freak, I think.
The Rayon Vert.
Rayon Vert. That's
Thank you very much.
That's a really hoppy version of Orval.
Okay.
And it's I think they do kind of the same thing.
Okay. Do the Brett first, then dry hop, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I like this. You know, the hard part for me about Orval is that it's different all the time for me every time I buy a bottle, and I don't know if that's part of that is, I guess, the nature of Brett, but I think more so it's the nature of when we get the bottles of Orval.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say, oh, this one's spot on, that's the better method, but this tastes fantastic. It tastes like any bottle of Orval I've ever had.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know? Tasty, what do you think about the dry hopping after Brett as opposed to dry hopping with the Brett? Any preference there for you?
Well, I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference. When I just think of dry hop, I think, well, how is the extraction taking place?
Yeah.
Well, it's the alcohol that's cutting the hop oils, right? That's how it's going into aroma and some flavor.
Sure.
Of course, the Brett's not producing any of that. It's just producing acid, which I don't know. I guess potentially that could cut the hop oils as well. I don't know. What do you think, Doc? Would that?
Yeah, I'd be more worried about oxidation after the pellicle's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Any problem with that? I don't taste any problem with it. But
well, I taste it. I just tasted my sample for the first time. It's pretty yeasty. It suffered a little bit on the plane.
Yeah,
it got shaken up.
Yeah. Well, those guys going checking it out after they look in your suitcase and hey, what's this?
Right. Yeah. Oh, I like this beer.
Yeah.
Beaver, do I have to read this whole goddamn novel from Komodo?
No, yeah.
I didn't.
It's Jesus. Okay, here we go. It's a good time to do it, I think, because it's a Brett question. Komodo writes in. I'm experimenting with Brett for the first time in a saison that I brewed 2 weeks ago, and I have some questions. The saison started at 10:45, and I pitched a healthy starter of White Labs 565 Saison 1. I added a pound of sugar a week into fermentation, and the beer finished at 10:12. Last night, I pitched a vial of White Labs 644. That's the Brett Bruxelles Trois. And the airlock started bubbling again. I am detecting DMS in the beer, despite a 90-minute boil. I know DMS will clear up after a while in the fermenter, but is this also a compound that Brett can clean up? And finally, if I want to add more Brett character to the beer, can I add maltodextrins and other complex sugars, which the 565 cannot eat, to ensure I get Brett character? So 2 parts there, guys. The DMS, will the Brett clean that up?
Oh, the 90-minute boil should have got all the SMM out of there. Mm-hmm. So he's probably not smelling DMS.
You don't think it's that?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's a compound that Brett can consume either.
Okay.
Well, especially if he didn't smell it during the normal fermentation and he's smelling it now, it's not DMS.
No,
it's something else.
It's
okay.
else.
Good call. So don't worry about the DMS is what we're saying. Something else.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that question was if I wanted to add more Brett character to the beer. By the way, I think he said he just added the Brett last night. Can I add maltodextrins and other complex sugars that the 565 cannot eat to ensure I get more Brett character? Does he need to add more food to the Brett?
I think he needs to wait longer.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely helps to mash a little higher to give them something to chew on. And if that's dextrins and maltodextrin contain, is not all completely fermentable, but to bread it, I believe it is.
Okay. So had he been able to rewind, so the next time around or something, he could mash a little higher.
Yeah, or he could add maltodextrin.
He could add these things as well.
He can, yeah.
But he should wait.
He just needs a reason to. Yeah.
He should wait and taste it after how long?
Yes.
I mean, when Brett's one of the ones that works fairly quickly, isn't it?
It takes, I would say, maybe 6 months.
6 months.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah.
So he's still got to chill out.
Even to start. But who's the man on this is Nate.
Yeah.
Maybe he should reach out to Nate on the forum or find him somewhere. But he's done plenty of Brett saisons before.
That's true. Okay. But still, give it some time. If in the end he is not finding the Brett character that he wants, is adding more food to it something that, in your experience, Doc or Keith, you would recommend?
I never tried it, but it sounds like it might be something to try. Yeah.
Okay.
Food and age.
Yeah,
age is probably going to do more.
It'll add more age to it. Don't break the pellicle. Just if you can rack it with a racking cane into it by putting just a small hole in the top of the pellicle, that's your best bet.
Okay.
Don't just dump it in.
All right. There we go.
Would there be a pellicle if it's Brett?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I've had friends look at my conicals or my carboys going, I hope you don't serve me that when it's done.
Something's wrong.
What is that gnarliness?
Yeah. That's all ropey and nasty looking.
All right.
Beautiful to us, but
let's do some feedback.
Finally.
You've got mail.
Yes.
Feedback's brought to you today by homebrewstuff.com. Go check them out over at homebrewstuff.com. All the stuff you need to brew. A great supporter of the Brewing Network, and we thank them for that. All right, Gay Kyle writes in.
Gay Kyle.
What's the point of a fucking soundboard if Boner Chicken isn't cued and ready to go all the time, for fuck's sake? Suck it, Moscow. Sincerely, Gay Kyle.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I had Gay Chicken loaded on my soundboard, and it was broken. I reloaded it.
It's not called Gay Chicken.
It's Boner Chicken.
Boner Chicken. No, it's Gay Chicken.
It is now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing.
I found myself humming that last week for some stupid-ass reason.
Boner Chicken?
While you're looking at a boner?
Wait, you lose Boner Chicken.
It's time for the Brewing Network's latest game, Boner Chicken! Yeah, Gay Chicken.
Stare at my boner, stare at my boner. It moved, you lose, Boner Chicken. Stare at my boner.
Hey, everybody's favorite game to play at home with your wife's roommate.
So I guess I need to add that to my soundboard, because that's all Justin's fault.
Yeah, add it to yours. All right, Catfish writes in, kill the soundboard, please. All right. That's it. That was the whole feedback. John writes in, guys, I love the show. Or I should say, I did love it until I listened to last week's show. Dude, what the fuck? I had bop stuck in my head all day. Not cool. P.S. Justin, bring your van to Portland and we'll race. I have an 85 Westie with a 2.5 Subaru engine.
That would be the shittiest race in
Why
the world.
would you ever challenge a Volkswagen driver to a race? Fuck you, John. You don't get it.
No.
With your 85 Subaru conversion.
Look at the last line in his email, though.
Don't get it. It was, I'm building a kegerator in it this weekend. No, that's cool.
That makes it cool.
Would you take him now that he has a kegerator in his van as well to add more weight? Would you still race him?
No.
Well, it's a downhill race.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can race those things.
To roll it.
He's a pussy. He gave up on his Volkswagen engine and he put in a Subaru engine. I'm not dealing with you, John.
Don't be jealous.
You're a
'cause his
traitor
bus
and a pussy.
drives.
Don't be hating.
Don't be jelly.
Don't be hating.
All right. I didn't sign my name, writes in. I live a mile above sea level, and every beer I brew hits a terminal gravity of at least 2 points below what my recipe says to expect. The mile you guys helped me out with was estimated to finish at 10:08, but came out at 10:06. Does this have anything to do with the altitude, or is it all in the ingredients? So far as I can tell, there's not an infection in this beer. I did increase the corn sugar from the recipe. It's a mild tweak of Jamil's Saison by 25%. The scaled recipe called for 4 ounces. I used 5 ounces. But would that account for such a high attenuation? Guys, any knowledge on how altitude might affect 2 points of gravity?
I have no idea.
Is 2 points that big of a deal?
No.
Not
in
my
the
fucking
homebrew
brew day, I'll
world,
tell you that.
If it is
12 is not a big deal.
If it is barometric pressure, which of course it's going to be different at a mile up, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be the same with the starting gravity. So it's really the difference is attenuation. I have to ask him, how does the beer taste? Does it taste like a 10-16 beer, or does it taste like a 10-10 beer or 10-14 beer?
Maybe the yeasties like it better.
Yeah. So we live at sea level. Difficult question for us to answer of how altitude might affect. If you're really consistent across the board and you've brewed several batches, like really a lot, and you're always 2 points low, it's something worth looking at. If you've only brewed a couple of batches and you're always 2 points low, there could be any number of things going on that would cause you to be
Could
off.
be your hydrometer's off.
Even that, yeah. It could be that science also hates you. I don't know.
If it's good beer, I wouldn't worry about it too much as long as you're consistent and you can dial it in after that.
Yeah. He also says, P.S. JP's new show is great. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. This is now my new favorite piece of feedback.
Dr. Homebrew, available on iTunes now. Search Dr. Homebrew. Gnome writes in.
Gnome.
Hey, Brewcasters, love the show. Here's my question. Around here, which is Israel, all the local beer fests charge an entrance fee of around $8 to $14, and then charge per pour, which is around $1.50 to $2.50 per 3.5 ounces.
That sounds terrible.
It's unfortunate.
To the best of my knowledge, the entrance fee covers fest production, and the per pour charge goes to the breweries pouring the beer, and this model sucks. From what I've been hearing on the BN, I understand that most U.S. beer fests are entrance fee only, and then drink as much as you want. So can you explain the revenue share model? And if people can drink as much as they want, how do you keep out the dumb fucks who just want to get wasted? And that's Noam from Israel. So this is a good question, and there used to be a lot of festivals in the U.S. that were based on this model too, where you'd have to pay and then kind of pay per drink. There's still a couple that I know of where you have to buy drink tickets. They're not quite as expensive as you mentioned. Also, and English, UK listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, which I know you will do, but I think I remember that the Great British Beer Festival either used to or still does have this model also, where you have to pay per taste. It's a sucky model, but here's the difference, at least in the U.S. In the U.S., most of these festivals that are charging the flat rate, the beer is donated. There's a for lack of a better term, a loophole in the system that allows breweries to donate beer to nonprofit events, and they become fundraisers for different organizations, just like ours does. So when the beer is donated, we don't have to recoup as much money as to pay for all the beer. We're able to charge a flat rate and then send the proceeds off to a nonprofit organization. If that's not how it's happening in Israel, I wouldn't blame them one bit for having to recoup the cost of the beer that they purchase to pour you in your glass. So it's all legalities. I mean, even every state in the U.S. is different. Never mind every country on the planet. So I wouldn't know where to begin with what the rules are there in Israel, but that's probably what's going on. You probably need to talk to a fest organizer and figure out what the deal is. If that beer's being donated like it is here, you're getting screwed. Somebody's making a shitload of cash on some beer fests, and those breweries aren't even getting a piece of the money. So,
Wet Dog Brewing in the chat room just said, Justin, are you trying to explain free stuff to Jews?
Pretty much.
I thought it was funny.
That's pretty much what
made me laugh.
You're right about the states being different. Arizona, there has to be an exchange of something. You know, JP could probably come up with some other exchanges.
Yeah.
But there has to be
fluids.
Yes. But they have to give you tickets when you get in there, and they usually give you like 15 or so. I think they also use it to control the crowd, because at like the Strong Beer Festival, for instance, you can get pretty wasted on 15 1-ounce pours of big beer.
You can.
Basically, Arizona's crazy. It's full of crazy people. Is what that just
and
means.
guns.
Yeah.
Well, of course, that was the second part of his question: is how do you keep the drunks out? And
you don't.
You don't. But you don't find it. It depends on the festival. Look, at $50-something a ticket, you're not finding a whole heap of college kids or people just looking to get hammered. So more often than not, it's fine. But Tasty goes to more festivals than any of us. You get to know which festivals have those and which festivals don't, right?
At what time, at what festivals? For instance, the GABF, right? Everybody knows what nights not to go.
Perfect example.
You don't go Saturday night.
You don't go Saturday.
Unless you want to see drunk college girls, which raise your hand if you do.
Well, what I did
slip in a puddle of their vomit, which
what you do is
I may or may not have
everybody
done.
does, yeah. Some people don't make it all in the bathroom.
Yeah.
The vomit.
So you go out and have a good time at the really nice bars in Denver.
Right.
And then about 9:30, half hour before it's over, you come back and watch all the drunk people leave and talk to the drunk chicks.
Or if you're like us, you're working.
You're working, right. Yeah, I don't know. The festival model's a delicate balance. Believe it or not, the Brewing Network's Winterfest is one of the least drunk fests I've ever seen. You would think it wouldn't be that way, knowing us, but it is a pretty mellow crowd.
Yeah. Well, you've got something for them to do. It's not just about drinking beer. There's food to eat. There's bands playing.
Well, and it's cold, and so everyone's kind of slower, you know.
Sure.
I have Giles on line 1. He was the question you just read about the 2 points off piece from Denver.
Okay, he can hang in there for a second. Let me get through feedback, and we'll do that. Let's see. Stefan writes in, holy clusterfuck, Batman. Listening to the Dortmunder experiment and the beer number 1, 2, or 3 mix-up felt like I was in an Abbott and Costello Who's on First routine. While I'm sure Justin was about to murder Doc, that made for a funny segment. Keep it up, you mildly retarded beer savants. Yeah, that was not one of my prouder radio moments. So,
but I put it in there because someone liked it.
Did he?
Well, he said it was funny.
He liked that. He liked that I lost it.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Dave writes in.
Who's Dave?
This guy.
Dear scientists, even though Justin seemed to hate it, I really liked the Dortmunder experiment with Tasty and Doc. It was a little sloppy, first try and all, but I think it has the makings of a good segment. You have a good personnel for future experiments with Doc, Tasty, and Nathan doing the experiments while JP leads the sensory evaluation.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
I actually thought of ways that we could make that experiment go better, too.
You did?
Yep.
What did you come up with?
Like not doing it?
No, color coding the cups and bottles.
Or just having Moscow do it.
Somebody else do it.
He's the one that doesn't mess it up.
Well, yes, certainly that, too.
My only advice would be to have a couple of questions or even a hypothesis that you keep with the entire time to keep it focused. Some of the guys seemed confused about what they were evaluating. I could not agree more, even though we talked about it on several episodes for several weeks. Some of the guys did not know what the fuck we were evaluating.
I think it fits in this cup better than it fits in this cup.
Yeah.
Are these 3-ounce cups? That's what we're talking about, right?
Dave continues to say, I have come up with a conclusion of my own, though. Science does not hate Justin. Justin hates science. He was pretty pissed off at the end there. I do also hate science, but it's a mutual relationship.
I like you call us scientists.
I hate scientists and science.
Even before it started, when Tasty said, I thought I was number one. And that's when I lost it. I couldn't think about anything else. I'm going, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
I think it's fair to say that Justin hates everyone.
Yeah.
Especially Bevo.
I was not happy.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, I was even before the shit hit the fan, and I was just, I'm not going to say anything.
Clay writes in, email entitled Morning Zoo, stop with the fucking clap track already. And that's that. That's his whole email. And finally, Kilted Drummer writes in, motherfuckers, please, for the love of fuck, make Scott stop using the goddamn soundboard. He has the comedic timing of a used tampon, and it will never get better because he doesn't have a soul. I should know. I'm also a ginger. Your show isn't a radio morning zoo. It's not a 50s sitcom where you need to tell us when to laugh with a laugh track. You're all funny, even JP. Huh? So fucking quit it. And if I hear the stupid applause track again, I'm going to mail you a bag of dog shit. Suck it from Kilted Drummer. That's another one.
It's only this little opinion.
Have you produced a positive feedback on the soundboard
Scott
yet?
looks like he just murdered his puppy. Scott looks very sad.
I think you should be playing the fucking applause track right
You should have played the applause track all the way through. Do we have any retaliatory positive sound? None. Not one. Moscow says not one. Should I just turn off your pot now? Forever? Is the light going out forever as soon as I hit this pot? You still have
forever.
It's dying right
Is
now.
the light in your soul going out along with it?
What soul?
Yes, no soul. The ginger
comment was funny.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the light on the soundboard has gone out.
Oh.
I'm going to cry.
Do you need
No
a
more
hug,
tasty
Scott?
quips.
All right. I think that's it. Do you want to play one last tasty clip before we... No. Scott's done. That's that. All right. Don't forget your feedback was brought to you by homebrewstuff.com. Go check them out at homebrewstuff.com. Beaver, what's the phone call again?
It was the one, the
Say
Mile
Something.
High Brewer guy.
Oh, the Mile High. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got an answer for us.
With the...
Well-
is he answering his own question?
I don't think he's answering his own question. I think he just has a bit of clarification as to what he...
Weren't we clear that we have no fucking idea?
Yeah, I thought we were
I don't think we got what he was getting.
What's his name?
I thought he was pretty clear in his email.
I told you, but I forgot.
Giles.
Giles.
Giles, what's up, buddy?
Hey, so the Saison that I was talking about, I actually was using the WLP, it was a standard Saison yeast. And I kept hearing from Doc and from Jamil that one will stall out at about 1022. That one didn't attenuate down to 1008. It attenuated down to 1004. And I didn't reach above 74 degrees in my fermentation, even though I tried to crank it high to reach a higher attenuation. Is that going to be due to the extra corn sugar, or is that maybe something to do with my mash?
It's tough to say.
This is why I edited out this part of his email.
Yeah, that's...
I
didn't put this in for a reason.
Was your OG the same?
My OG was actually a few points higher. It was 1061.
And how many times have you brewed this and had the same thing happen?
This was the first time, but every single beer that I brewed, including my extract batches, usually drop 2 to 3 points, sometimes 4 points below the target gravity.
That's not usually the home brewer's problem. We always hear it just stalls out 2-3 points ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What's he mashing at?
What's your mash temp?
On this specific one, it was 1047.
What's your mash temperature?
Or 140. 147, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, yeah.
That's pretty low, right?
It's pretty low. You should probably check all your equipment, your thermometers and your hydrometers, and just make sure they're accurate. You could be mashing at 141, and that would have a lot to do with it. Not even know about it. So just
Good
make
call.
just make sure you dial in. So you're reading what you're supposed to be reading.
That's a really good call. I like to have 3 different thermometers that all tell me a different reading, and I really dial it. And as you can tell, I fuck it up every time. So
I'm using a meat thermometer and a standard brewing thermometer. So 2 different ones that usually give me a pretty close reading.
Okay, but you still could calibrate them. You
need to calibrate them.
Do the boiling water, and then coupled with the ice water test. You want to get the freezing one too.
If you end up in the low 40s, it'll still ferment, but it'll ferment a lot drier. So I would check that first, and then start eliminating one thing after the other, what it might be. I wouldn't blame it on the altitude.
Yeah,
blame it on the rain.
Of course, your third step could be to quit brewing for 3 years.
Yeah, I could do that.
And then come back to it with a vengeance.
Yeah, after the nail polish bomb that this Saison turned into, I'm not sure I want to do that one again.
Yeah. Don't be frustrated. Doc gives great advice in the terms of check your equipment first, and it's many times the simplest thing, and that is the simplest thing to check first.
All right, sounds good.
And then let us know if that doesn't work. We're happy to dive further into it and confuse you even more.
Cool.
Also, post your question in the forum.
The other thing that gets me is he says it's consistent with all of his beers. They're all coming out lower, which could be equipment. It's more than likely that what you're measuring.
That it could be at low 140s.
I mean, you can get lower attenuation with an infection that still doesn't have a big taste to it. I've tasted beers that are so low that they just taste dry, but I don't taste any sourness. I don't taste anything like that.
Okay.
But having to be consistent across the board with all your beers, I doubt you're getting them all infected.
Okay.
Unless you're, stirring something with a wooden paddle that you shouldn't be.
Or you've got one ball valve on the cold side that you didn't boil or something.
It could be something like that. That'd be the second thing I'd be checking, because you don't have to have an off flavor to have an infected beer necessarily, or you just can't pick up that flavor.
Yeah.
Right.
Only if there was a show that you could send in these beers to, and people could rate them and tell you.
What would you call it if they did?
Something like Dr. Boner Sucker or something.
Right. All right, thanks, Giles.
Yeah, I was actually getting ready to mail those off, so I'll talk to you guys later.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Cheers, brother.
Now I have to drink that.
How many anti-soundboard questions were there?
Emails?
Emails, yes, I'm sorry.
Of what I put in there?
Today, 3, I think.
Of what actually I put into feedback.
I have 5 people saying they want the soundboard back.
Oh,
in the chat room.
I was just going to say that. So the comments we're
At
getting
least
is
5.
save the board, save the board, save the broad, soundboard, Boner Chicken is sacred, save the soundboard.
Well, Boner Chicken's on my side.
Well,
it's time for the Brewing Network's latest game, Boner Chicken!
But you were going to delegate.
I also got the board was like an audible abortion. So there's definitely some naysayers in there as well.
I think Moscow's already retired.
We need the board, but I hate the clap track. I just hate that. Every time I was on,
you want a shovel?
Every time
to pile it on.
Do you hate it when we actually applaud in person? Because there's
no, that's okay.
Why? What's the difference?
It was done.
There is a difference.
What is the difference? No, because it didn't well up and then slow down. It was like it was just done.
I'll give you an example of the difference.
It sounded very artificial.
When Cold Hot Crash played in Cold Hot Crash, the Trophy Fire, they're like the same fucking band, right?
That's the best flip you could ever do.
When the Trophy Fire played in here last week, and you did the clap track at the end, it went from being an intimate in-studio acoustic performance where we would have clapped and made it continue to feel like an intimate to like kind of a cheesy clap track.
Maybe you need
that's one example.
an applause light in here.
The applause track is what I cringe every time I hear it. Everything else, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear them take the seat up.
You asked what the difference was. That's the difference to me.
When I call people little bitches or whatever.
Yeah, that's all fine. I like that. Well, not when she called me.
Well, I've turned the light out. You told me to burn. I don't even think the light works anymore. Broke it.
Stab it out.
I set fire to that pot on the board.
Now, once it's out, it's extinguished.
Chat room says there's penicillin for that clap.
Once I turned Doc's light on, it didn't come back on for a month.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm hard to turn on.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to try a little more Keith's beer. We'll take some Drunk of the Week calls if you're out there and alive, and then we're going to get out of here. So call now, 888-401-BEER. I'll make Bevo sit there the whole time and answer your phone calls. And we'll take them when we get back. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients, and the best customer service in the business. Cut hours off your brewing sessions by using one of their 11 varieties of famous Williams malt extract. Their new Snap-Lock stainless steel cam-lock fittings will make connecting your pump or heat exchanger quick and easy. Or check out their exclusive paintball tank-based draft beer equipment. They even have their own line of precision hydrometers. Go to WilliamsBrewing.com to browse their vast selection. That's WilliamsBrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy. The Williams way.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for any beer style. I want a Cicerone. The Cicerone certification program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious, Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Did you know the Brewing Network's very own Code Right and Fool's son, Ryan Wolf, has opened a beer mecca in Missouri? The Wolf Brow House of Beer has hundreds of beers from all over the world and is conveniently close to I-70 in St. Peter's. Free tastings Saturdays 4 to 6 p.m. featuring special guests from local breweries. The best build-your-own six-pack around with every style represented. And kegged craft beer available for your kegerator too. There's always something new at the Wolf Brow House of Beer. New and hard to find beer every week. No 2 visits are the same. Just like passing out at the Rat Pad.
Hi, this is Ryan from Wolfbrow House of Beer. Mention the Brewing Network when you stop in for some cool free stuff. Mention JP for a swift kick in the ass.
The Wolfbrow House of Beer. Beer with personal service from a member of the BN Army.
This is Code. Visit my son's shop or I'll yank the BN website down.
www.wolfbrow.com. Here's a bite for beer lovers. Soft caramel made with real craft brew and coated in chocolate. And Hop Drops, hard candies made with real hop oil. Introducing Beer Candy from beercandy.com. Beer Candy's amazing caramels come in 4 mouth-watering flavors. IPA, bitter gold, wrapped in smooth white chocolate. Lager, made with a familiar beer from Boston and coated in milk chocolate. Lambic, soury Belgian goodness full of fresh raspberry and dipped in dark chocolate. And Stout, roasty cocoa chocolate insanity. Hop Drops are made with Fuggles or Cascade hops and are known as the candy that bites you back. Choose from sampler and full sizes of both and make your mouth jump to life. All at beercandy.com. Hop Drops and beer caramels. Satisfy your sweet tooth as only a beer lover could with Beer Candy. Visit beercandy.com today. By popular vote from the Northwest Brewing News, HopTech has been voted the best homebrew shop in Northern California. Serving homebrewers for nearly 30 years in Dublin, California, HopTech carries more than 40 different kinds of hops and more than 60 different grains. Malt extract, spices and sugars, hop oils and extracts. Open every day except Wednesday or shop online anytime at hoptech.com or call 1-800-DRY-HOPS, 1-800-379-4677. With in-store classes almost every Saturday, huge selection, and a dedicated commitment to their customers, HopTech is one of the longest-running and passionate homebrew stores, period. And now, by popular vote, the best homebrew shop in Northern California. And don't forget their 15% military discount. HopTech. Visit today at hoptech.com.
Wait till you can pour it out of your own kegerator.
I mean, your friends will look at you with awe.
And it's just hot.
It is?
It's so super hot.
The home of live beer radio.
TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The
Session.
You wandered in here all alone. You couldn't leave your problems there at home. You're wondering what's going on. And me, I might seem distant 'cause I'm gone. Because of the time out, you come into yourself, don't let it go south. You can put it on the shelf and scream and shout, 'cause it's better for your mouth. Never should have opened up your mouth. Because of the time out, you come into yourself, don't let it go south. You can put it on the shelf and scream and shout, 'cause it's better for your mouth. Never should have opened up your mouth. I'll try to calm myself down. Been running, trying to play with this whole town. I'm strange, the strangest one around. I'm in the deep end of my senses and I'll drown. Because of the time out, you come into yourself, don't let it go south. You can put it on the shelf and scream and shout, 'cause it's better for your health. Never should have opened up your mouth. Because of the time out, you come into yourself, don't let it go south. You can put it on the shelf and scream and shout, 'cause it's better for your health. Never should have opened up your mouth. Billowing over, billowing over, billowing over, billowing over. I told him I'd try to knock it off. Turn around and just turned it up a notch. Keep cooking 'cause some of us like it hot. Think you're really one of them. Chances are you're not. Think you're really one of them. Chances are you're not. Chances are you're not. Chances are you're not. Chances are you're not.
When he came out, he was just a calm little guy. He just, it was like we disturbed his world. No crying. He just came out and he was just kind of, I don't know, he was very content.
Anything other than perfect is gonna be reason enough for my demons to hate me. 'Cause lately the voices are rising in volume, beginning to alter my mood into crazy. In the nick of it, live in the thick of it. Sick of it, son, you a brick of it. That's the road that I've been taking. That's the road that I've been taking. Bright and strong, universal shine as the day is long. Hyperactive mind. Hyperactive mind. Hyperactive mind. Hyperactive mind. Hyperactive mind. Hyperactive mind.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
what a show! What a a fun show. What a good job we have here at the Brewing Network. Thank you all for listening and subscribing and donating and buying stuff and supporting our sponsors. We appreciate it very much. This show is brought to you by More Beer, of course, but all of our sponsors are very important to us, and they keep it coming. We wanted to thank Christopher Mullins, a senior from McGillen's Old Ale House in Philly. We'll be seeing you soon. And also, of course, we want to thank Tom Hennessy from Colorado Boy Brewing, also author of Brewery Operations Manual and the Frankenbrew video. Thanks for being on the program with us. A lot of people have spent time with us over the years, and it's a nice thing.
It's a veritable who's who in the brewing industry.
Yeah, that's what we do, isn't it? We're going to try one more beer from Keith here, then we're going to drink the rest off air. Looks like I got a couple of Drunk of the Week calls coming in. I'm going to admit right now that this week I have begun contemplating
suicide,
eliminating Drunk of the Week from the show.
Ooh.
Eliminating it.
So they'll just do it on their own?
You know, the only reason I've kept it this long is for the occasional gem. But the gems are so few and far between in recent year.
They're like blood diamonds.
That I just feel like, have we outgrown Drunk of the Week? Yeah. And by we, I mean our listeners. I don't think... I feel like we stick it out through a bunch of shit in order for that occasional gem to come through where somebody dangles his hang low in front of his wife's roommate.
Yes.
And even still, I didn't find that impressive, so I think we might be slightly jaded.
Right.
I think we've
seen so much.
I think we've outgrown it like 3 years ago.
How about we don't cut it out at all? We just...
Drunk of the month.
No, not even that. We just... Like the other show, it just comes around every once in a while. We put it out there that it's coming around at a certain time. And they save it up and they bring it strong.
I don't think we even schedule it. I have a slight modification of the same thing that you're talking about. And that is just that we still do Drunk of the Year because inevitably drunk people are still going to call in. And I welcome that. I think it's fine. So as that happens organically, we give out Drunk of the Year at the end of the year to the best one. But Drunk of the Week has just become a mess. It's a mess.
It was destined to become a mess.
Even in the chat that do not like it. There's those who do not like it.
I mean,
so we should just listen to that.
There's going to be 7 vocal people who could not be more upset with the losing of Drunk of the Week. But the other 30,000 people are going to be like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to you try to see one more broad's tits.
Well, and
which, by the way, this does not preempt us trying to see another broad's tits.
I like that if it comes around less often, it would be much more impactful and
that's all I'm saying.
But now it's like, how many times have we gotten into the show when we forget to do Drunk of the Week and you go, fuck, we got to Drunk of the Week, I don't want to do it, and we do it real fast and it's real boring.
And it's just a bunch of bandwidth for the occasional gem is my point. If someone really calls in drunk, I'll take it, right? That's fine. I'm not eliminating drunk calls.
Well,
you said this and the phone just started ringing again.
If we get rid of this, it's not going to get people on all the way to their whole commute.
I see what you mean. The extra 45 minutes of drunken retards is that last bit of the commute.
You know, if I was sitting on that train and I was trying to get all the way back home and you cut it out.
Well, if the listeners call in with entertaining drunk calls, I will take them. I don't know that I want to be chained down.
That's fine.
So this is the problem.
To the Drunk of the Week.
It's that we put the call out for content and nobody's delivering, so we're going to cut it.
Yeah, in other words, once again, I'm blaming everybody else.
Right. Yeah. now you've split the chat room between the Save the Board and Drunk of the Week people and Save the Board and Kill Drunk of the Week people. So
why don't we axe
among factions?
I'd like to kill
one more thing.
Weak people with the board.
We'll just axe everything this show.
Keith, you're fired.
Oh.
Except that this beer is incredible.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Well, thank you.
Let me go to phone calls. We'll talk about this beer. Look at the phones lighting up now. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Casey from Folsom. Is this Casey, our Firestone Walker Beer Fest winner, Casey?
It is. Hold on, let me turn on my radio. Yeah.
How you doing, buddy? Let me tell you what happened.
I'm actually completely sober. No, I'm pretty drunk. Although I was way fucked up on the end of Firestone Walker. I ate one of Tasty's cookies, and then there was a cigarette going around that tasted a little bit weird. And by the end, I don't really remember. I remember walking up to you and saying something like, "Thanks for the tickets," even though it wasn't really your choice. And then I remember getting in the car and then, boom, just fell asleep.
Casey, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you're one of the best drunks.
Oh, God.
No, you're one of the best drunks I've ever seen, my friend. You were fine. You were absolutely fine. You were having a good time. You were a happy kid. And you don't even think twice about it. I have been around a lot of listeners who have grabbed a piece of my ear that, God damn it, I wish I was listening to Moscow's soundboard instead.
So when I grabbed your ass, you weren't upset. That was fine?
Too soon. Too soon. It just died. I did want to say this, and I'm saying this on the Brewing Network and Casey's behalf. And Casey, just so you know who's responsible. Firestone Walker came to us and said, we want to give you tickets to give away. Well, they didn't just give Casey tickets. They gave the kid a hall pass. He got into the Brewers camp. He got everywhere that all the Brewers got to go. And as they're talk, when I got there, I said, hey, we got our winner. And they're like, well, what does he need? And I said, well, you offered him tickets. And they showed up with these Brewer passes. And Casey, not that I wasn't looking out for you or anything, but I just was like, oh, no. Guys, I just want you to know, you only promised tickets, so it's up to you. I would love to give this kid all access, but I'm just reminding you. And they were like, no. This kid, he gets anything he wants. And Casey and his dad, they got to rock the whole damn thing, courtesy of Firestone Walker Brewing Company.
Realistically, you were like, look, guys, our listeners can be a little bit
save yourself.
So just so you know, he's going to irritate the shit out of every single person. Do not let him in Brewers camp. And they're like,
And I was like, I don't know this nut job or his nutty dad.
Yeah.
No, they. But they. You got the royal treatment, right, Casey?
Oh yeah, I was fucking stoked. I didn't even know that Matt Brynildson was sitting next to me. Was that his bus? That big ass red bus?
No.
We were sitting on top of a RV that had a whole lounge on
RV
top
thing,
of it.
Yeah.
No, that's not Matt's or Firestone. That's just another guest of the brewery that you got to party with, man.
Now
Because I
remind
was
me.
up there talking to Tasty about the cousin, and then all of a sudden this guy goes, "Hey, I'm
Of course
Matt."
you were.
And I barely remember looking at him going, "Wait, are you Matt Brynildson?"
Listen to me.
Yeah, and I'm like,
That's
"Oh
not
shit,
the-
what's up, dude?"
That's not the story I heard.
This is Casey. You were surrounded by Matt Brynildson, Jeremy, the brewer from Lagunitas, the brewer from Boneyard was up there. You were surrounded by every brewer at the festival, man.
The only regret I have is not writing down my questions on a piece of paper so that I could ask them in my drunken state, because by the end I didn't remember what I was going to ask about, like, barrel aging at home and shit.
Believe me, none of the... Yeah, JP, you're going to say the same thing, right?
Yeah, don't ever do that.
None of the brewers mind that you forgot those questions at home. They were just there to party.
The last thing you want to do,
Although
dude...
JP, my only regret is that JP was super quiet. I got there and I was
He was
pissed
not
on the kid
there.
and be like, yeah. He'd say like, yeah.
No, I didn't go there.
He wasn't even
one
there.
answer responses. And in my mind, he was like thinking all of the terrible, hilarious things in his head, but he wasn't saying them because there weren't mics and people he knew.
I wasn't there.
I hope you mean at the festival itself, because at the after party, JP wasn't even there.
No, I was swimming in my
You're like,
hotel
no,
room.
I was hanging out with him for like an hour. No,
he looked like a tree.
JP left.
Well, not at the after party, but at the when you were interviewing people, he was doing one answer responses until his nephew.
It was
And then
105 degrees. It was too hot to speak.
No, he was working. The guy, I mean, he was working.
If I don't have a microphone, the only thing I can do is move shit. I can't.
I mean,
it's like hobbling a Chinese girl.
This is always the thing. You know, people ask me, like, is it weird that we know you and you don't know us? And I always say, that's not. No, it's not. That's not what's weird. What's weird is that we actually have a job. And when we cover these, they're like, wait a minute, but how come you're not dropping everything and being the idiot you are on air? Because this is not the time for that.
This is real life.
The people are paying us to be here. We have to do a thing.
Yeah.
And that's the only time it ever gets weird.
That is that.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised at how you did a great job. But actually, I shouldn't have said surprise. Sorry. But you did a great job.
That's what I need is another backhanded compliment. All right, Casey, I gotta go.
You're writing down questions and yeah. Oh no, it's cool. But yeah, I'm really not that drunk. If someone's super drunk, give it to them.
All right, thanks, Casey. It was actually
don't eliminate it. Don't eliminate drunk of the week.
Okay. I do want to say
every once in a while you get those.
All right. It was a pleasure to meet you, Casey, and I thank you for hanging out with us there. And I mean that. And your dad was a very nice dude too. So thank you. All right. Let's go to Dave in New York. Dave, what's happening?
Dave's not here, man.
Hey, what's up?
How are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you drunk?
How are you?
Pretty. Yeah, I've been waiting for fucking 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm drunk.
How are you?
You got drunk just in the last 20 minutes that you've been waiting?
No, but I don't have any cable until tomorrow because I moved into a new apartment and I've been waiting since last Friday. So I've been literally sitting on the phone drunk and drinking.
Oh my God! Is it like a 2-bedroom? How many square foot, dude? Close to schools.
Tonight is the night of backhanded compliments. I love. I don't have any cable, so I've been listening to the show tonight. I've been hanging out on the phone because I don't have any cable.
And I got bored while I was doing that, so I got drunk.
I'm sorry that you missed America's Got Talent tonight.
Yeah, the Black Kid one. Don't
I
worry.
have a resume, actually.
All right. Oh, I just heard it crinkle. He actually has a resume. Well, in 1995, I graduated from ITT Technical Institute.
No, he just graduated from college, and he lives in New York and is not going to Philadelphia.
Oh, well, why aren't you?
I'm fucking poor.
Because he just graduated college.
Crimea River, I'm poor.
Right. Bevo's going.
I made grog tonight.
You did what?
I made grog.
He did rock?
What the fuck is that?
Prison hooch.
I made grog. It's a pirate drink. Have you ever seen, Dave Lamprey?
That's blood of virgins, idiot.
It's a pirate drink. That is a great answer. Oh, well, why didn't you say so? How do I know what a pirate drink is? There hasn't been pirates.
I made a grog. I had a grog. I went to this hipster cafe because I have no internet. And me and my friend went to look for jobs.
No cable and no internet. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to this hipster cafe. My friend and I had no jobs, so he went for jobs, and I played online poker, which is not a good idea. And they had beer there, so I drank beer there. And then their fire alarm went off.
How'd you pay
we went
for
to
it?
another bar. What?
How'd you pay for the beer?
He paid for it.
Oh, okay.
Attaboy.
I gave him a ride. He didn't have a fucking car.
How'd you pay for gas?
He paid for it. JP, leave him alone.
Beer for me.
I don't believe his story. I'm poking holes in it to see if it stands up to pressure.
Stop yelling at me. And I've been watching the end of the Lord of the Rings. You know when they all jump on the bed.
Yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, that's getting me.
I think that's Lord of the Dongs.
The pillow fight scene in Lord of the Dongs?
I think it was Lord of the Cock Rings.
What are you talking about?
It was the wrong... Your roommate's playing a trick on you. He put in the wrong DVD.
Oh, Mr. Cockwise, come G. Let's jump on the bed.
I told you to never put that on TV.
All right, Dave, you're in the running for Drunk of the Week. You sound good and drunk to me, and you are in the running. Let's go to Steve-O on line 3. Steve-O, what's up, man?
Hey, my Mexican.
What up? Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard for the last 15 minutes. All I heard is you're cutting out Drunk of the Week, and I just dialed, dog. So I haven't heard shit about no conversation.
Cool.
Check it out. I got a lot of shit. I got to put you on a reality check right now. First of all, Moscow, keep the soundboard, dog. I love it, man. You're a funny man.
Moscow, he's gone into JP speechless mode.
Hey, I've gotten better.
Hey.
Through years of drinking
Jay,
by
you really
myself.
cutting out Drunk of the Week? Or I just hope you're in a pissy-ass mood again like last week. I hope you're not cutting out Drunk of the Week.
Is this real talk?
I do appreciate your candor, but come on, think about it. Really think about it. Is Drunk of the Week all that great?
Hey, you would have never met me if it wasn't for Drunk of the Week.
Is Drunk of the Week all that great?
Hey, I'm fucking drunk right now, but let me get some points across. I came home on a Monday now because you fucking have it on Mondays instead of fucking Sundays. So I got to run my ass off at work, get home early, buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack,
and I started drinking right at 6 o'clock, just like I hear the show. But I get drunk while I'm listening to the show, just for a chance to say, hey, maybe I'm drunk enough to call in for Drunk of the Week.
My favorite part is he ran out of breath during his point. He ran out of breath.
Yeah. Well, first, my ancestors, they were already in California before it belonged to the United States. And then... yeah, Steve-O. Come on, shorten it up, man.
Hey, on the real?
Yeah.
What happened to all that ass-hattery back in the days where you used to love when people called in drunk. You used to get happy, dude.
I do. But now you guys... shut up. Now you guys... here's what happened. You bore me to death. You call in and you go, hi. Hey, what's happening? I'm drunk. All right.
And then I had to. Now you changed the things. Now this is my day. After I realize this, when there's a show on, I have to get off of work early. Then I have to go to the store and buy beer. Then I have to drink the beer when I get home. Then I have to listen to the show, and then I have to drink while I listen to the show.
My wife's asleep. I can't talk too much.
Yeah. How was the store? Where did they have sales on tampons? Dude, who cares?
I know. And so it's not me not excited about you drunks. It's that you drunks have gotten complacent. Where's the...
Yes, it's too easy.
Where are your goals in life?
Because...
Where's the ambition?
You know what we need to do? Like the AHA does. No award awarded this week. Because nobody was good enough.
No gold medal this week.
No, nothing.
Because you sucked balls, Steve-O.
Who wants to win on default?
You told me your life. Well, I used to work until 6 on Mondays, but now that the show has moved around on Mondays, I only work till 5:30, and then I have a 20-minute commute. If there's traffic, sometimes it takes me 45 minutes.
And my homeboy Chone covers for me when I leave early.
Yeah, Chone.
His name is Encarnacion, but we call him Chone for short.
Don't totally blame me for your complacency, drunks. Goodbye, Steve-O.
Forever.
If we do a no award given, that means we will have to sit here and listen to that bullshit and not have anything come of it.
No, we can hang up on people. We should do that more often.
Should I go to Brew Tattoo now?
Speaking of hanging up on people.
He wants to get rid of Drunk of the Week.
Brew Tat.
Hey there.
Hey, buddy.
It's been a while since I've called in, so you know that I've got to be steamed about something.
Yeah, it has been a while.
Easy for you to say.
It has been. So just back up a second here.
All right.
I think the solution to the problem here is Drunk of the Week that's jumped the shark years ago.
Right.
Okay, because it used to be like an organic thing. You'd have a contest at the end or questions at the end, and somebody would call up and they were just stupid ass drunk.
Right.
And then you'd say, hey, they're the Drunk of the Week, and then everybody started calling in at the end of the show to try to be the Drunk of the Week, and it got ridiculous.
It did get ridiculous.
Nuclear. It got nuclear ridiculous.
Just return it to the purity of what it was.
Which is that's what I'm saying. I'll give away Drunk of the Year if you guys call in and you're organically drunk and retarded. I'm happy to talk to you.
Have more stuff that they can call in at the end.
Right.
Like with one of Moscow's stupid ass contests that nobody can understand anyway.
Great. Now every contest Moscow does sucks too.
Well, no, some
people
are good.
Are really
some are
turning
good.
on Moscow today.
Most are good.
That gets me to the second point. That's my second point. Is that we should keep the soundboard but remove the clap from the thing because that is kind of stupid, and probably not have so many Tasty drops when Tasty's sitting right there fucking next to you because it confuses the shit out of him.
Yeah, not us, the listeners. It actually confuses Tasty.
Don't confuse Tasty.
And you know what else sucks? People between 5 and 6 foot high. They're dicks.
Yeah, Doc, that was for you. You didn't even know.
No.
All right,
I'm trying to talk Steve-O down.
Yeah, he's texting. He's
I got more calls.
Right
are you going to NHC?
I'll be there.
We'll see you there, my friend.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
Do I still have to go?
Wow, here's one we haven't heard from in a while.
Lufa?
Sarah 36C is back on the line. Yeah, talk about
Stop
saving
clapping.
Drunk of the Week. This is like a Hail Mary right here. Hi, Sarah. Where have you been all our lives?
Oh, just enjoying myself.
Good girl.
The pleasant way.
What's your
Whoa. The pleasant way.
What is
She's enjoying herself the pleasant way. Let's find out about that.
Wait,
Is that like
what-
the shocker?
Correct.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what,
Oh, yeah.
got any tools? What are you doing?
It's the shocker.
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. It's all in my vagina right now. There's moving trucks and the shocker.
I'm sitting on an egg beater.
Yes.
Sarah.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say hi to Tasty.
Of course you do.
Of course.
Hi, sir.
Great.
I missed you.
This call went downhill real fast, Sarah. You had us all going, and then you singled one person out.
No. I just.
No, I had told
You know.
Ryan that she should call in
Okay.
again.
Okay.
Well,
Carry on. Are you for or against eliminating Drunk of the Week?
Oh, no. 4. I love this shit. It's hilarious.
So she's against
You
eliminating.
can't get rid of it.
Correct.
She's retarded. I love you, Sarah, but you're a little retarded.
No.
She's one drunk in the week before. Right?
Sometimes. No, remember when you could get people to, like, shoot off the guns and, like, break beer bottles and all that shit?
I know.
It's
What
awesome.
happened to that? Where are these people? I don't know. They're not here.
They're locked away in institutions.
They're not calling in. I'll tell you
No.
what. They sobered up is what happened.
I wonder how many.
they're rehab.
I wonder how many of these hardcore people have stopped listening to the show because they go too overboard. Right? We know a couple of people who have actually done that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's what happened to me. I kind of, like, had to pull back the reins, and then I was
See?
like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to, like, go back in.
Not a girl.
Now you're sitting here flicking yourself off to the BN again.
Two finger.
Yeah, actually. I was having a good time.
Well, don't let us interrupt you.
See, we're glad you're back. But it's the rest of the boring. I don't know. And it goes like this: call in, and then one call every 12 minutes, and it just
No. Listen, I know what you need to do. You need to put, like, really hardcore music on. And when I'm on hold, I had nothing. No music. So you need to do, like, something really, like, angry, like Rage Against the Machine, so that people are like, yeah, I'm really mad. I'm so angry, and I'm going to, like, just fucking pull it all out. That's like, that's my suggestion.
I have to admit, Sarah gives a pretty decent suggestion.
But pull all of what out? The anal beads?
All
I don't
of it.
understand.
No,
Everything.
it's the fucking anger. You gotta, like, pull out the drunken anger with the song, and then people are gonna get pumped up. They're gonna be like, you know what? Fuck that shit. And then they're gonna, I don't know, do stupid shit.
She makes a good point.
It does.
Bevo wants to shoot herself in the face, though.
She wants to say something, too.
No.
Sorry, Bevo. I turned you off because you don't.
I
still
love
haven't-
Bevo.
I know it was
Go ahead.
one time.
One time.
I just want to
5 minutes.
say that for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
there were 2 calls on hold for Junk of the Week. It
Right.
was not until you started saying that you were going to get rid of it that all these
I
bitches came
know.
out of the woodwork.
This is what happens. This is why.
And by bitches, I'm not talking to
You
you,
know what?
Sarah.
This is what America.
Oh, you just called me a bitch, Bevo.
No, she did.
Indirectly, she
You
did.
liked it.
She did.
Well, yeah.
And you like it.
And she probably did like it.
Of course I like it. Okay.
See, this
Can
is
she come here and kiss my tits?
Whoa.
that's not a
No? Is
track,
that a no?
ladies and gentlemen. The slow clap comes out.
Yeah.
Can we get back to Sarah pleasing
No.
herself on the air for us?
All right, Sarah, I thank you for your call. I appreciate your vote for keeping Drunk of the Week. However, you're the last of a dying breed.
Oh,
That means you have cancer.
really?
Well, there's just not enough of you that
No, I
that
just have
entertain
nice
me.
boobs, and I like to
Prove it.
enjoy myself.
Prove
There's
it.
nothing wrong.
There-
I already proved it before. I'll show you here's the picture.
Do it again.
I think
There
there's
is
2
nothing
things
wrong with
that
it.
entertain us about her, right?
There are 2, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, for
But you are there. There is one of you for every 12 calls that goes like this.
Oh,
Hey.
don't do it again. I don't want to live through that again.
Hey,
Stop it.
what's up?
Oh, God.
All right, thank you, Sarah.
And
Toddy.
hot.
Oh wait, I missed one. Fierce Beard. Fierce Beard, what's up?
Hey, not a whole lot. I just, I heard you were cutting the only event I've ever been good at.
It's on the table. It's on the chopping block. The issue is up for debate.
That is such a good reason to keep it.
It is.
It's the only thing I've ever been good at.
You're making my life difficult. You know I'm a compassionate man.
I can't even climax when I jerk off.
I'm a winner here.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a competitor, but I never win except here.
Probably because you're
right. But
I almost lost a foot today. If you know you want to get into like
How did you almost lose a foot?
I had a close call, man. I work in a sheet metal shop.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I guess maybe it might have been through some sort of neglect on my part, but I guess I overloaded a cart and it buckled. Oh. And like this cascade of sheet metal. Phil.
Why does he sound
like Burl Ives?
Yes. Yeah, you're like a cross between George Jefferson and Burl Ives.
Cascading sheet metal.
Okay, quick question. Just for the record, you knew Steve-O was calling in for Drunk of the Week, right? Because he's on line 4 again.
Yeah, hang up on him.
Okay.
He's in for Drunk of the Week.
Fucking this dude. Did I know that? No, I didn't know that.
And before you hang up on him, tell him to stop being a little bitch.
I'm not saying that, but he's listening, so he knows.
All right. Well, Fierce Spirit, I'm glad you kept your foot, man.
Me too.
Thank you. Yeah. Fierce Spirit out. I'd buy that for $1. All right, you're in the running for Drunk of the Week again. Well, that's another vote for keeping it, but only for. I mean, and I'm okay with selfish reasons. It's because it's all that he's ever excelled at.
He's apparently not very good at loading sheet metal.
Let's go to. Is it Toady or Toddy?
I don't really know.
Fucking Bevo.
It might have been Doty. I couldn't really understand him.
Probably like Jeff. He's just like, well, I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
It's probably Tony.
His name is Larry.
Why do we all still suck at our jobs?
I'm great at it.
I honestly cannot hear.
I never got a job description, to be honest.
So you can't blame me.
Yeah, me too. I didn't do it.
You said I had to answer the phone. You didn't say I had to be good at it.
These are good points that you're
I'm
all
actually
making.
deaf, and I've made up every single thing I've ever written to you.
We never knew that Bevo's actually blind and deaf.
I can make up the other part of your brewing team.
Is it Toady or Toddy? I don't fucking know.
Tony?
You can call me Chody.
Chody!
Oh, shit.
Perfect. All right.
Sorry.
Chody is calling in with an opinion about Drunk of the Week. Go ahead, please.
So, I was thinking, instead of Drunk of the Week, you could have, like, Drunken Trivia weekly. But you have to verify that the person's drunk before you ask them the question.
You know, we've tried. We've thrown in little games and trivia games and things, and again, it's very rare that we get something good radio out of that.
I've thought for years that most people, not most, but some people are calling in faking Drunk of the Week. 25% minimum.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue, but.
Well, it goes along similar. So if you have a game, you can't, like he's saying, you can't prove that someone's actually drunk because there are at least one caller a show that you can tell is fake.
Yeah,
and then they're going to win because they're whatever
because they're not playing bone.
Right. Thank you for the call, Chody. I'm sorry.
That's true.
Jesus. Riggs now? I got to do both Mexicans in one night?
This Mexican doesn't sound like Steve-O.
Well, and Riggs is at least like half Tongan looking. He's all right.
He's half Tongan, half Samoan. Riggs?
Hello.
I met Riggs down at Firestone, and he's a jolly dude.
I like Riggs. He's a good
guy. Yeah, I spent a little time partying with him.
Riggs, what can we do for you?
Hey, man. What's up, dog? What's poppin', you guys? What are you guys doing?
See, this is why I'm canceling Drunk of the Week.
What's the show about?
What you guys do?
Just to warm him up.
What were we talking about again? Hey, check it out. I got a suggestion. I heard this like a long time ago. Like, you guys used to do these fucking voicemail shits that, like, drunk to the voicemail shit back in the days.
Oh,
I mean, that way you guys can filthy filter that shit out.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Leave drunken message on the voicemail.
Even those.
Voicemail was good.
It was all right.
Well, we don't have to do it every week.
But then the mailbox is full all the time.
Drunk of the month, son.
The problem was this: the mailbox. There was an enormous amount of people calling, and again, the ratio stays the same. Whether it's voicemail or calling into the show, we would have 100 calls that we had to sift through for 2 good ones.
Yes, but you have to sift through it, not me.
I'm just saying I might have called that line once or 5 times.
I'll call a couple of times to make it better.
I called a couple times. That's for sure.
2 or 3 times in a month.
Riggs, I got a question for you.
What's up, Doc?
At Firestone Fest, I met Steve-O's brother, and his brother's white.
Yeah.
His brother's white-skinned. He's not a real Mexican, right?
Like a Mexican albino.
Hey, man, we call that the lechero style, dude. No, he's got. I think Steve-O is like he's got like super tanning problems or something.
Steve-O goes to a tanning bed every week. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's got the weird tanning bed session going on.
All right, Riggs. Thank you for your call.
All right, yo, cheers up.
All right. Why is everybody calling in for Drunk of the Week now?
Because
they're not. Now they're calling in for Drunk of the Week opinions.
All right, what do I got? Now, am I supposed to go to...
You should go to 1 first.
It's an op-ed piece now.
Or wait, no.
2. Danielson?
Yeah, Danielson.
Danielson.
I think. I mean, I couldn't really hear.
This is Ralph Macchio? Danielson.
He died.
See, it's not him. No, it's because his name is probably something completely different. It's probably Frank.
Frank is on my street!
And he doesn't know I'm talking to him. Daniel. Son.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Suck it. Not you, Daniel.
What's your opinion?
It's Daniel Brett.
Fuck off. And then Frank? Frank, what's up, buddy?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Hey, Frank.
Hello.
What do you want?
Oh my God!
All right. Well, the volume is or the audio is poor. So
Oh, okay. Sorry,
you can
Frank.
control that.
Go ahead, Frank.
I suggest that you keep Drunk of the Week. It is a highlight at the end of the program. I think you should just ask folks to show a little restraint and only call in when they are truly wasted.
But now, Frank, I appreciate your opinion, but that's the problem: is that there will be no restraint, and they know that they're going to get abused if they're not very drunk. Actually, they're going to get abused if they're drunk, also. Well, yeah. But it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I'm not convinced. That's what the problem is here.
It hasn't worked for a while.
Maybe it should be the high motherfucker of the week.
Now, why can't it just be, listen, I'm not even really eliminating drunk phone calls. Why can't it just be, and this is the same premise I think you're talking about, Frank, if you're fucked up, go ahead and call. I'm going to take your call, and you could potentially win a Drunk of the Year. But do I really have to set aside a segment to sift through 5 of them for one good one? Be honest with yourself.
Well, so don't set aside a segment. Folks just know that they need to be able to call at the end, which is, I think, what you've been doing, actually.
I think Frank is Drunk of the Week this week. I'll tell you right now. You know why?
I have to admit that I am a little drunk, but...
Here's how I can tell. He's actually trying to give me some coherent advice on Drunk of the Week.
I think he's Producer of the Week.
He's just hammered. Yeah. And it's going well. You're not doing bad, Frank, actually. It sounds like a lot of
I'm not hammered.
It sounds like a lot of our creative meetings.
He might just have a small frontal lobe. You don't know that.
Yeah.
All right. It's the blow to the back of the head.
See?
All right. Thank you for your advice, Frank. I'm putting you in the running for this week's, potentially the last Drunk of the Week, by the way.
And our creative meetings are awesome. Well, I got to say that.
I don't know. All right. And what do we got here, Beef? One more? Gay Kyle?
One more. Gay Kyle.
Gay Kyle.
Gay Kyle, what's up, buddy?
Gay Kyle.
Penis, probably.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What do you got? What do you got for me?
Oh, I wanted to call and complain.
Okay.
Really?
I got some things I want to complain about.
Perfect. Go for it.
Can do it in order?
The ozone level.
Yeah, the ozone, exactly. It's bad. I feel like you should get rid of Drunk of the Week.
Okay.
Because all the people that were any good at it have already won,
and after you win drunk of the week, there's no point in calling again.
Well, that's not true. In fact, most of the people who win Drunk of the Year are because they've called in for multiple Drunks of the Week and won.
Okay, that point's bad, I guess.
Okay, carry on.
I just had a fucking brain fart, sorry.
My other point...
I think there's also not enough penis on the show. I think you need more penises.
Sorry, yeah, I just started thinking about wieners in my mind.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
I'm still thinking about Sarah.
My other point is, I think that people, once you win Drunk of the Week, you just don't call again. Those are my 3 points.
Exactly. No, also, though, you guys have just gotten fucking jaded. Like, over the years, you've just gone so long, now you're just fucking too cool for it.
Well, okay. Now, I'm going to entertain this idea, and I don't think you're completely wrong, but I think there's a different aspect to it. Jaded is not the right word. I want good I want good radio. And have we grown up and become more demanding? Have we gotten some great phone calls that have made us want to step it up? Yes. And if that's jaded, that we don't just keep doing the same... I mean, the segment just feels stale to me.
We're over it.
And it's not... I don't know that that's jaded as much as it's standards. I'm not above drunk people. I'm above boring drunk people.
There's no point in doing something that's not worth it, and it hasn't been worth it because people haven't been calling in to make it worth it.
Correct.
It's the listener's segment. It's the only thing we don't control.
And the last good drunk of the week I remember was Nicole.
Hand, though,
sure.
On the other hand, though,
yeah, go ahead.
Where I feel like you guys have just outgrown it and just gotten too cool for it.
Yeah,
I totally fucking agree because it's horrendous half the time. No, fucking 95% of the time it's just painful to listen to Drunk of the Week.
And
so
that's,
I totally get it.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm honestly, I'm trying to put myself in the listener's shoes. I'm driving in the car. I got my commute going on. I've just heard an awesome interview from Tom Hennessy or any of these wonderful guests that we've had, and then I have to listen to the 45 minutes of me trying to get blood from a stone of some drunk
or an anus
or a
penis.
white or a penis.
I drank 6 Sierra Nevada Summerfest tonight.
Oh, good. You're a daring craft beer drinker.
And I did it on a boat.
Were you wearing a sailor costume?
Yeah.
In dry dock.
But yeah, fucking get rid of it.
All right, thank you, Gay Kyle. Cheers, brother.
Yeah.
That was that was my favorite statement of the show.
He's going to go back and talk to his boyfriend Sierra Nevada Summerfest.
And I did it on a boat.
That would be a good sound clip.
Only if we had a board for it.
If only. Too soon.
Twitter game?
Well, we ought to give out Drunk of the Week, too, because it could be the last. Yeah, let's go over Twitter game. Let me review my Drunk of the Week notes, and we'll go that route. What was our Twitter game?
Our Twitter game was Terrence and JP open an ice cream parlor. I want you to name it.
Rape.
All right. What are our selections for the night?
From our friend Giles, he says Greek chocolate swirl.
Okay.
Belgian lace says 2 brewcasters, 1 cone.
Yeah.
Your evil dad wrote in melted dreams.
Okay.
Code Right and Fool, most handsome man in the world, Coca Creepies.
Cocoa Creepies?
Oh, he wrote Coca, but that's fine. Cocoa Creepies, that's probably what he meant.
I like Cocoa Creepies.
Okay. Lulu Gumshoe wrote in, you just got soft served.
I like that one, too.
Kale Baker wrote in, Black Dick's Creamy Dreams, since Terrence is black and Jipper is a dick.
That's all one thing?
Black Dick's Creamy Dreams.
Okay.
And then Andrew wrote in, Negropolis, home of the world-famous Greek sundae, Greek man yogurt over 2 mounds of chocolate.
That's pretty good, too.
Yeah. And then
I wish they could send in art.
Yeah.
Like artwork accompanying.
I should do that actually one day. Send a photo. And then Sean Brownridge wrote 2 scoops, 1 cup.
Okay.
I didn't understand that one. I don't know why I put it in.
Well, I think that Negropolis.
I do like that one.
And what was the other? Oh, and
You Just Got Soft Served?
Soft Served are our two finalists, unless anybody disagrees.
Oh, those are both good.
They are both good.
I really like You Just Got Soft Served.
Yeah,
I do like that
pretty
too.
Great.
All right, well, let's vote. Raise your hand for You Just Got Soft Served.
Oh, why am I clapping?
That's everybody. And Negropolis. That's nobody. All right, You Just Got Soft Served is our Twitter game winner
All
for
right.
tonight. Well
Only if you had a sound effect, so I wouldn't have to clap my hands. I'm burnt
All right.
2 calories.
Okay, wonderful. Good job. You just got soft served. JP will send you a prize. Okay, let me go through my notes, and we had a varied mix between opinions and Drunk of the Weeks. Dave called in for Drunk of the Week. I don't know what he did. Riggs called in with an opinion, but he was drunk. Steve-O called in for Drunk of the Week and an opinion.
And Mexican.
Frank called in for Drunk of the Week. I don't remember what any of them did.
No, because they didn't do anything. They did everything everybody does every Drunk of the Week. Nothing.
Sarah 36C called in.
She was pleasuring herself.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Fierce Beard, he sounded drunk. And finally, Gay Kyle. I think...
Gay Kyle.
No award given.
I think Fierce Beard.
Oh, we could go with the first ever no award given.
The problem is it might also be the last ever Drunk of the Week.
What? Yeah, right? What? How would... this him, right? Huh?
JP's Drunk of the Week, ladies and gentlemen.
That's being style. Last time ever? None.
Who was the guy who was trying to make a lot of sense, but he just was too drunk to do it? Was that Dave?
I think it was everybody.
No.
Choda?
Oh, no, that was
Danielson.
No.
Shit.
See, we don't know. All right, no
That's
award
how much
given.
we care.
I don't know. It's either going to Gay Kyle or no award given.
Both.
Gay Kyle was on a boat.
He did on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
On a boat.
I had a shitload of Summerfest, and I had it on a boat.
6 years I've had a Summerfest. I wish that's what he called penis.
Why does it matter? I wish everyone added the caveat where they... And I had it in a beanbag chair. It was just always some...
I had it in a postmodern kitchen.
Yeah. And I had it out on the trampoline.
I had it at the bar at the gay club. On a trampoline.
No award given!
Yes! That should be a good Drunk of the Week challenge. Drink all your beers on a trampoline.
While bouncing.
While bouncing.
Have to add that
Oh,
comment.
yeah, you can't. Oh, that's true. All
Keep it
listeners
gassy.
are dumb.
All right, it's a Monday month. Mondays all week. Next week is another Monday show. Now, those of you complaining might also note that it's like 6 weeks in a row without an off week, which is killing me.
Yeah, it's just Monday.
I feel like I'm running a marathon. It's terrible.
Goddamn Monday.
Next week is a Monday show. We're talking to Victory Brewing Company, who will be pouring at BNA 8.
Nice.
And that'll be a nice time. Keith, quickly, tell us about this beer I'm drinking. What do we have?
This was a beer for the 12 Days of Christmas. I picked the Turtle Doves, so I wanted to do something like a turtle candy, with pecan and chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I figured a robust porter would be a good showcase for that. Mashed it a little higher to get some sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Put a little bit of pecan extract in it. Well, that was after the bourbon barrel, so it was in a bourbon barrel for about. It was a new barrel, so it was about 3 weeks.
Okay. This beer's awesome.
Yep.
I love it. Doesn't have too much of anything. It's very well balanced.
Thank you.
Well done, sir. All right, Victory Brewing Company next week. Thanks to Keith for coming and hanging out with us. Thanks to our guest Tom Hennessy from Colorado Boy Brewing, also the author of Brewery Operations Manual and the Frankenbrew video. And, of course, don't forget Christopher Mullins Sr. of McGillen's Old Ale House in Philly. We hope to see you there when we're there for BNA 8 and the National Homebrewers Conference. Jip, you ready to take us out of here?
Yep.
Get us out!
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Follow JP on Twitter at Major Jip so he doesn't have to add you as a friend on Facebook and then hide you. Scott is on Twitter when he feels like it. Follow him at Moscow Paint. For some good beer insight and homebrew info, follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew and Mike McDowell at Tasty McD. If you are going to NHC, be sure to pick up your ticket to BNA 8. Go to brewingnetworkphilly.eventbrite.com. Your production director today on the session is Push Eject. Tonight's show has been produced by Scott Moskowitz. JP licked his finger and put it in his butt throughout the show. Your call screener and baby maker was Bevo, and your host was Justin Crossley. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook and Twitter.